everybody, what's going on? What's happening? What's up, Two Hit? What's up, Eva, Le Retro Spiso, Satellite Sun, Fury Fighter? Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. Oh, thank God it's Friday. Thank God you're here. Thank God I'm here. Thank God we can be here together. I hope you're doing well. I am doing magnificent. Go shave and come back. Am I getting a little shadowy here? I guess I am. I kind of feel it now. I used to be a lot worse about this, okay? I used to let this go for like a week or more and get like the really nasty neck beard that took some serious work to get rid of. And no, I'm not talking about the beard oddish days. I'm talking about before that, when I was just super, super lazy about it, but I still didn't want a beard. So this right here, this is nothing. This is, I got some stuff on my face and I just need to clean it off, so. A55 must be super excited for that PowerPoint. I have to assure y'all, there's no PowerPoint involved tonight. That's why we're sitting on the Steam front page. Like, I have no visual aids this time. You're gonna have to find other avenues to roast me on, which I have no doubt you will. I mean, look at Eva. He wants so desperately for us to call him Sir Whoop-Ass. I think I'm just gonna call him Sir Whole-Ass. Perhaps to have another hat, you should get a fake beard. That's not the worst idea. We could certainly expand the whole hat concept to cover other parts of the head. I bet you all would be real big on masks. I do actually. Oh, it is. Hang on. I don't think I ever showed you these. Hi. Hello, chat. I have payday masks. What's all this was starting or Yeah, I have one I see no difference. Yeah. You shave so quickly. Yeah, E3. One of the E3s I went to. I can't remember if it was if it was when they were launching Payday 2 or when they were doing one of their big expansions, but I got two of the Payday masks there, and I still have these. I used to have them hanging up in my office, and then when we had to clear out of there for COVID, I brought them back, and now my kids occasionally grab them and run around with them to scare the shit out of their friends. They love those things, especially my younger daughter. She thinks they're so funny. So what's up, R Dominic? Good to see you. Yeah, I had to start early tonight. I was so excited. I have been so excited all day about this. I have been thinking about it. I've been rolling it over in my head. It's because I can't help but get excited about new things that we're gonna do. I can never quite live in the moment. I'm always looking ahead to the next big thing, no matter how much I'm enjoying the moment in the moment. Genuinely Scary Masks, to be honest. Oh, they are, yeah. Some of their friends hate them. Some of their friends really despise them. 30 minutes of chat before chatting begins. Yes, I am not going to start the actual discussion until at least the 9:30 mark. So settle in for some inane ramble. Before we get to the proper inane ramble. It was pretty funny how quickly E3 sent out a message saying, nah, E3 is totally a thing. They had to, man. They had to. They've been bleeding out for a long time, though. The last E3 I went to in 2019 was so sad. Because that was after, who was it that punched out this year? I don't know. Two of the big three punched out for 2019, and oh my god, that convention center was so empty. So E3 was already on the way out. Yeah, it was absolutely on the decline. Cause I went, God. Well, hang on, let me take a sip of my delicious beverage. I did it, chat. I finally entered the world of homemade cocktails. My wife bought some cheap vodka and we made screwdrivers tonight. It's so nice. It's so nice. Yeah, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo all dipped this year. But yeah, in 2019, only one of them showed up. And I can't remember if it was Nintendo or Microsoft. It was Microsoft. Sony and Nintendo were already out in 2019, so. Ramble. Let's get ready to ramble. I'm probably gonna get copyright struck for that, aren't I? E3 for All was the beginning of the end. That was wasn't that their online initiative or something? Publishers just wholesale buy reviewers now, says no need for the. I mean, E3 has been rendered obsolete by all the major publishers' own showcases that they don't even host at E3 anymore. Like, they rent out their own theaters somewhere and they have their own presentations, and then everybody else picked up on that. Like, PC Gamer has their own big presentation about like the game industry as a whole. Like, and now we have stuff like Nintendo Direct and the PlayStation updates and the Xbox showcases. Now it's like a year-round thing. Now anytime these big developers have like more than one thing to announce, they make their own event. There is no need for E3 anymore. E3 was already on the way out with the rise of social media. I think that was the true beginning of the end, because right there, like, companies had an unprecedented way to connect directly with the people interested in their products. You know, once they could just tweet shit out directly to people, they could handle it any way they wanted. And the need for these big unifying events where different companies were like pitted against each other to compete for press coverage, it was already on the way out. EA and Ubisoft, I mean, for now, but I can't imagine they'll stay around much longer either. If E3 2023 is any sadder, and it's going to be, if it's any sadder than 2019, then you'll see more publishers abandoning ship for the year after. What's up, Lojo? Hi, good to see you. E3 for All was when they opened up general admission rather than being just an industry event. The year I went, there was already a general sentiment that was declining on the way out, and that was 2015. Can't help but think that perhaps this is a good thing because there's less control over narrative. E3 disappears. I mean, like, yeah, the only sadness I feel is the loss of the spectacle. You know, we see in Nintendo Power when they do like CES reports and stuff, like, there's a certain level of nostalgia for these old shows where they get out the mascot costumes and then have the big video monitor walls showing like Super Mario Brothers 3 and stuff. And E3 definitely had a lot of that. Like, I have great memories from going to E3. I first went to E3 the year Half-Life 2 was shown. And that year was nuts. That year was crazy. There was so much shit going on. It was overwhelming. And that's back when they had like 3 full halls. They can't fill 3 halls anymore. They can fill like 1.5 maybe. But yeah, the first year I went, they had like the 2 big halls with all the major publishers, and then the 3rd hall underground with all like the weird ass indie developers and like the Korean and Japanese devs who couldn't afford like proper booths on the ground floor. And then I started going again when I got into the games industry in like 2009. And I've gone every year since then, and it's just been a steady downslide from there. And I really do think it was social media. I really do think companies found other ways to reach out to their customers. And especially now, like it's easier than ever to get the general public in on a beta test, let people get their hands on a game that you're actually proud of, rather than having people line up at kiosks at this exclusive event. It just doesn't have the prestige that it once did, and times have changed, you know? Like, big conventions, I feel like big conventions are really being phased out in a lot of industries. I've arrived! Welcome, Tradon, you're early. We're not getting to any important banter for another 20 minutes, but it's good that you're here. We're rambling about E3 at the moment. E3 dying and PAX thriving, there's a market for the big meetups. But yeah, to go back to what Retro Spiso was saying, I kind of think overall it's probably a good thing, because E3 E3 was like this big third party that had their own fingers in the pie, you know? E3 could dictate a lot of the media coverage and exposure that companies got. And I do kind of think, since there are so many alternatives now, and I'm glad you mentioned PAX, because yeah, PAX is kind of the new E3. That's what a lot of companies focus on instead. It seems, at least, it always seemed more equitable to me. I don't know if it actually is, but I think it might be a net good that E3 no longer has like this big stranglehold on the yearly information drip. Bejeweled 3 on the front page. What year is this? It's always Bejeweled time. What, would you prefer Elder Scrolls Skyrim? I'll just need to find another way to meet the Schick Hydrobot. Definitely feel like the pandemic really helped to absolutely kill E3. Definitely. Like, no doubt. No doubt. Like, whatever relevance E3 was already bleeding, the pandemic just like knocked the rest of the blood out. I really can't imagine anybody's gonna care about E3 this year. I really can't. Mixed media convention, I like to stay in a safe state, of course. I mean, it of course depends on the culture of the convention. Any convention, I'll tell you what, any convention that has cosplay as a major feature of it will probably never die. That if E3 had leaned heavily into cosplay and supporting cosplay, they would still be alive and kicking and would not be on life support right now. That is how you keep a convention alive. What's up, Chaos? Back when I used to work as a video game tester, they would send a few people from our team every year. The year I joined, they stopped doing it, saying it was only leads. The year I became a lead, they decided to stop sending people altogether. So that fucking sucks, dude. Even at Konami, they sent us. Although my second year at Konami, they sent us to actually work the booth. So y'all know that story. Y'all found that story on YouTube. Nah, but I want someone playing Adventure on the Atari 2600. Click on Underrail, please. The Fury is interested. Sure, yeah, why not? Have a look-see. I'm surprised you haven't looked at it yourself, especially if you have any interest in Fallout. It's basically a love letter to OG Fallout. There's a reason they hired the company that runs PAX to run E3, yeah. Yeah. Hire the people that actually understand how the landscape has changed. Found a sad thing about E3 dying. One less thing to make fun of during stream watch parties on Twitch. Oh, but there's plenty more things in their stead. You basically traded E3 for like 3 to 5 other huge, embarrassing showcases from the major publishers. There's always going to be some good shit in there to make fun of. For me personally, the reason I cared about E3 was because it's a big singular event for the large announcements to the industry. That's what I liked about it, not the gimmicks. Just that it happened at once and technically one place. I knew where and when to tune in for new game announcements. You know what? You know what the new version of that is? You know what's replaced that? Jeff Keighley's Game Awards. Honestly, Jeff Keighley's Game Awards is the new E3 for big announcements. He really has just slotted that in right there in that void that E3 left yawning when all the publishers started punching out. Activision was such a notoriously bad good old boys club. It was such bullshit. Yeah, we know all about that now. We're hearing plenty of that. Unemployed now, no money of my own, so I don't look at games right now. It's neat though. Game Awards is a fucking joke. I hate it with my whole heart. The actual awards part is fucking whatever. Like, I don't really believe in award shows, period. I definitely don't believe in stuff like the Oscars, like the Academy Awards. I definitely don't believe in just like a totally like aloof, disconnected panel of people deciding what the most important films and actors of the year were. Completely independent of what actually happened in cinema that year. At the same time, I also absolutely do not trust the general public to do like People's Choice Awards. Because just far too many people go off of name recognition alone, so. If there's a good way to do an awards show, I don't know what it is. I've never seen it. I ain't here for them. I watch the Game Awards for the announcements. That's it. I don't give a shit about the awards I give out. What about the Prestige? I mean, it's a system you buy into, you know? You're not gaining any recognition other than from the people that really buy into this stuff. So, I mean, yeah, it definitely helps a game to win Game of the Year or Best Roguelike or whatever. But like the actual value of it is solely in exposure. There's no real meaning beyond that. One of the many reasons I kept a healthy backlog of games I haven't gotten to yet and still want to play because I've gone through that so many times in the past. Yeah, I'm sure it helps. This is a homemade screwdriver, by the way. We got some vodka on sale, and I finally started mixing drinks, and I'm so happy. I am so happy on so many levels. I had a busy day at work, but it was a really good day. I got a lot done. I accomplished a bunch of things. I did something that I think is actually going to genuinely help our company. And I came home and I got to relax a little bit, cleaned up, did some productive stuff. So, and I've just been looking forward to this all day. I've been looking forward to this all week. I've been looking forward to this since the moment I decided I was going to do a Just Chatting stream. I love doing these so much. I love having just absolutely zero expectation to play anything. I mean, it's not like I hate playing games or whatever, but it's a different feel, you know? It's just like I could sit here and I can riff on about anything, and that's literally what people show up for. I'm not tricking anybody. I'm not doing a bait and switch with like, oh, we're playing Fallout 2 tonight. All right, let's have an hour-long discussion about politics in the United States. No, we're not doing that. I'm like, I'm talking tonight. You want to talk? Get the fuck in here. And that's what we're doing. Play Under Rail. They fix your laptop? Oh God, no, it's still fucked. But I was able to do all the stuff that I need to do. So. I still have expectations of game being played, then prepare to be disappointed. I actually do. I have something that we can play if we run out of things to talk to, but that's never a safe bet around here. I would not put money on that. Chugging Fallout 4, Elden Ring, and Outer Worlds right now. Damn, Fury. I don't know how, even given an infinite amount of time, I don't know how you do that. I am at a point now where I really have to focus on just like one. I have to focus on one big game to keep track of like what's going on in it and to ensure that I don't just like get distracted and never go back to it again. I mean, generally I'm playing something big that's fun and engaging enough that I want to keep at it. I want to go back to it night after night. But yeah, if I start mixing up big games like that, I'm gonna lose the plot in all of them. I think I've been discouraging in the Game Awards. The biggest games that are already popular always win, so nothing really moves the needle during it. That's what bothers me the most about it too. The games that could really, really use the recognition, the games that could really, really benefit from it, almost never win anything. And that's very disappointing. Like, you know, the new God of War or Elden Ring don't need to win awards. Everybody, they're known quantities to the entire world. So, but I mean, here again, if you're just looking at it entirely objectively, if you think Elden Game is Ring of the Year, I mean, doesn't it deserve recognition for that? So again, I don't think there's a good equitable way to do awards shows, so I don't believe in them. People liking things that win awards, a sense of validation for your taste. I think that's a huge factor, honestly. I think validation is a huge factor in not just award shows, but like the shape of media as a whole. People want to people need other people to believe that what they're doing is fun and good and worthwhile. People, there are a lot of people out there that just crave that validation. I mean, that's basically the very heart of what a capital G gamer is. There's somebody that has these absolutely diehard opinions, but they're too fragile to just cling to them themselves, and they need somebody else to validate them. Which is why they go aggro on fucking anybody that disagrees with them online. Validation is good anywhere in life. Watch. Hey, Oddish, I like your shirt. Oh, thank you, Two Hit. Yeah, I like this shirt too. This is seriously one of my favorite shirts. Not only does it look cool, it's like really comfy. So yeah. See, chat? See? No one is immune. Elden game created by software. What a ring. Tell us more about Elden game. I stopped caring about award shows literally the first time I was ever interested in one. I remember the Kids' Choice Awards really catching my attention. When I first saw their marketing, it advertised, you pick your favorite artist. I was like, really? I checked with they had options. I didn't know who any of them were. Because at that moment, I stopped caring about them and never looked back. Yeah, you got out early. You got out early. My parents were always big on award shows. We would watch the Oscars and the Grammys and Golden Globes and stuff. And when I was a kid, I just liked the pageantry of it. I just thought the whole production of it was just really, really neat. And I would always look forward to like the random like stage crashers and stuff. Like it was the Oscars, right? When like the naked guy who wrote like soy bomb on his chest showed up. That was back in like the 90s or real early aughts, right? I will always remember soy bomb guy. Oh, yes, I do look at tier lists just to confirm the maker tiered things same as I would. I do it too. Validate, look. I can bitch about validation and evils of pursuing it all I want, but nobody's immune to it. Nobody is immune to it. That was a huge factor in my reviews. You know, that was a big thing in writing reviews, is like a huge part of the motivation was just seeing like all the upvotes that we get on Steam. That was like crack for me. Seriously. And then it was equally inversely painful when people would comment on about like, Lamau, I can't believe you wasted so much time writing this crap. Who the hell do you think you are? Also helps you were wearing specifically that shirt. Yeah. No, this genuinely is one of my favorite shirts. So yeah, it was a perfect conflagration of things. That was the wrong word to use, but I don't care. I like conflagration. Elden Ring, I'm taking my time getting my RP mindset, finding nice costume and weapons to go with it. Hell spells that work like OG said. Imagine if Audis was wearing a very plain white shirt with like a ketchup stain. You know, I like iceberg videos about things I know nothing about. I haven't actually gotten into the whole iceberg videos thing. I'm curious about them, but I tend to go in on explainers on things that I'm already interested in. I haven't quite reached that level. I remember learning about From Software back in the early PS2 days of the game called Eternal Ring. Kind of weird RPG. It lets you choose which spells to use based on the rings you created. They're imbued with magic. Fun game, but I swear no one else knows about it. Chaos, I don't think it was you. I think there have been other people around here that have tried to convince me to play that game. And we may get to it at some point. Underrail, the hit indie RPG for creator Toby Wolf. Actually, has Stygian Software made anything else? Anything about it? No, they made Underrail and they made DLC for Underrail 4 years later. 2015 and 2019. Hopefully they're working on something new, because I've heard lots of good things about this game. That was the one where the announcer said something about the streaker becoming famous for showing off his shortcomings, right? Yep, it was. I missed that. What's the topic now? Oh, I was talking about watching award shows with my parents when I was a kid, and I remember when Soy Bomb, this guy that just had Soy Bomb written across his chest, crashed a musical performance at the Oscars. That stuff is painful. You must regret every day since I stumbled in. I mean, look, validation is a huge motivator on Twitch as well. I mean, just the validation of seeing like viewership numbers and metrics go up. The exquisite agony of watching those same numbers go down and you don't even know why. Or even worse, you see those numbers go down and you do know why. Yep, validation is... We're all addicted to validation. We love your skills, Oddish. Need to get back into watching informational documentaries on YouTube again. It's been a while since I watched things like that. I'm actually really proud of my older daughter. We kind of turned her loose on YouTube, and for a while she was watching a lot of like 5-minute crafts and just like random like life hack stuff. Now she's gotten on like history YouTube. She watches all these explainers about like fascinating facts from history and different time periods, and she's just loaded with all these interesting factoids now, and I love it. I absolutely love it. My daughters do a lot of things I'm proud of, honestly. Starting to look back in my backlog again, considering I'm unemployed in the moment, so what better time to do so? Yeah, certainly. Oh yeah, the dead PS2. I hope you're able to get that fixed, or at absolute worst, replaced. Haven't looked at the numbers for 5 or 6 months. It's been amazing. I wish I was as strong as you. I wish I could just ignore that completely, but I can't. It's not in my nature. It doesn't keep me up at night or anything, but yeah. I love metrics too much to let go, no matter how much they hurt me. Only 2 things on TV I saw, not counting Twin Towers. I remember as vividly as I witnessed it. First was Owen Hart. Oh yeah. The other was Janice boob being exposed on the Super Bowl. That was so stupid. The uproar over that was so stupid. And I can't believe people are still bloviating over exposed nipples and shit, like, several decades later. Really need to delve into Defunct Land and down the rabbit hole again. Defunct Land is amazing. I love that channel so much. Do not try anything you see on 5-Minute Crafts without external validation. Oh, she knows. She knows. Yeah. She watches it because she thinks it was interesting, but yeah. And I keep track of everything she watches on YouTube. I have full access to her browsing history, and I'll pop in whenever she wanders over to a new channel. Both of my daughters, because she likes history stuff and my younger daughter likes Minecraft stuff. And I know both of those can be pipelines to some really heinous shit. So whenever they find a new creator, I always go in and I look through their videos and I see if I can find anything not great. So far, they're clean. So far, they're good. Discover that historical cooking channel, the one where they cook historical food. I love that one. Which one is it? Because I watch Townsend's from time to time, the guy that's all about like colonial America and like the habits and stuff from then. He's pretty interesting. I love his speaking voice. He is so relaxing to listen to. Consider the same people seem not giving a shit as fucking shoot right every day. That's fine. She finds how to basic. Look out for the safety of your eggs. I watched Slow Beef make that god-awful Pizzadilla thing that was making the rounds a couple of years back. That shit was awful. Me and my friends will sometimes watch a 5-minute crafts video together late at night in Discord and just be utterly baffled at and pick apart everything wrong with it. They are pretty gobsmacking sometimes. I've watched over her shoulder a couple times and I would just start snickering and she'd just be like, what? And I was like, you can't be serious. Tasting History with Max Miller. Okay, I've heard that one, but I haven't watched it yet. Yay, nipple. Yay, nipples! Everybody, hooray for nipples. Celebrate the nipple. Release the nipple. Be proud of your nipples. Let the nipples fly free. Mainly I'm watching smaller YouTubers, kind of no PewDiePie or anything outside of the Game Grumps. Maybe Scott the Woz, if he's even considered that. I actually don't watch a whole lot of video game. Well, no, that's not true, because I've been watching Ambiguous Amphibian and all of his RimWorld and Kenshi and SimCity stuff. Outside of that, not really. Yeah, right now it's mostly like history and cooking shows and stuff. Tipple, I love to tipple. Ashens didn't post in January and I'm sad. Aw, that is sad. I used to be really into Ashens. I used to like him a lot. I kind of cooled on him after a while. I think just a glut of similar content for me, because I just kind of shotgunned it a lot like years worth of his content all at once. Posted something in Discord you might laugh at straight from 5-minute craft video. Let me take a look at this real quick. What is this? What is this? Oh god, it's so loud. Oh Jesus Christ. I'm so sorry, chat. I am displeased. I am distressed. Confess I watched some of the big names, Mark, Jack, Jesse. I mean, I would absolutely watch Markiplier if I could stand his gimmick. I've watched a lot of stuff like about Markiplier. I've watched some like interviews with him, and he seems like a genuinely cool guy. But I can't watch his actual video. I can't watch his content. He mugs too much for me. I can't do it. Actually ran into Ashens on a Twitch chat randomly and exchanged some words, which was something. That's pretty cool, Eva. That's pretty cool. Stuart Ashens seems like a pretty neat guy, too. Can't stand his actual content, drives me nuts. I love his voice, though. God, I love his voice so much. I wish he would narrate audiobooks or something. I would buy them all. I have that problem with all famous YouTubers. I can't for the life of me stand their energy. Yeah. There's a couple of folks that I watch on YouTube that stray dangerously close to that stuff. And I understand now. I get now. What's up, Toast? Good to see you. And Zem, good to see you as well. I understand now part of it is necessity. Like if you want to reach a huge audience on YouTube, like there's just some things you gotta do. And like the whole mugging for the camera and overreacting is just it's part and parcel, you know? So I feel like Twitch is kind of a different ecosystem in that sense. Like there's not really a lot of, it's not really like an attitude thing. Like I've seen huge streamers that basically like you could replace them with a sex doll and nobody would know the difference. They're just sitting there like the whole time they're playing their game. And people are just watching them because they're a big name and they're really fucking good at the game. But yeah, YouTube, like, there's like an expectation on YouTube to have like a certain, stop describing. Stop describing yourself. But on YouTube, it really seems like there's a big expectation to have a certain level of energy. Mugging? You've never heard of mugging for the camera? That's where you make faces with your mug. Like they're not genuine reactions, but are basically YouTube thumbnails. Like every YouTube thumbnail where everybody's like, that's fucking mugging. Oddish the sex doll. Put that on my tombstone someday. Think of like a Maximilian Dude thumbnail. Yeah, exactly. Can't watch most YouTubers. There's only a few who are really academics that use as a medium to teach that I enjoy watching. There are some academic ones that I really like too. There's I think it's Stuart Hicks has a really interesting architecture channel that I've been trying to get my older daughter into because she's interested in architecture, and it's like genuinely fascinating stuff. Mugging, gooning, couple of different terms for it, same concept. Speaking of Ashens, I got Tale. It's related. I like horror films. I generally just chill with them at times. They don't really scare me. I'm in for the lore narrative, and sometimes I want some trash with garbage acting. There's fun schlock and badly written. So I was on Netflix one night, and about 28 minutes in, new characters introduced. Takes me for a moment where I'm like, where do I know that face from? Who's that actor? It's fucking Ashens in a horror movie on Netflix? It was made on a small budget. Some of the CG they managed to crank out was impressive. Kind of forgot. That's awesome. That's so cool. That's really neat. There's a YouTuber that makes custom dolls with resin for the bodies that makes them superposable, who did Iron Mouse and Silverveil, called Moonlight Jewel. That is cool. That's really cool. Have you watched the Time Team show from the UK? She might enjoy it. I haven't even heard of that. But yeah, I'll check that out. But yeah, my older daughter is like a sponge for trivia and facts and stuff. Look at the doll! Look at the doll! Look at the doll! Lots of good size channels you follow. All right, I looked at the doll. It's a very pretty doll. That's actually a really cool doll. That is a really neat looking doll. I will give you that. I will give you that. Channel got Tarnished Archaeologists, and they relate designs and lore in Elden Ring to historic precedent. Today's video is about Baltic pagan religions and Christianity. That's neat. That's a really cool approach. One YouTuber my son watches or relishes in making fun of a lot of the content that's gotten big on YouTube, and all for it. Daniel Gonzalez, he's great. Lots of good science channels. I'm sure there's a lot of good science channels out there. I haven't really delved too much into that yet. But I'm sure I'll get around to it eventually once I run out of explainers for other stuff. Just got back from seeing Avatar. How was it, Toast? Was it the greatest movie you've ever seen in your life? Very, very pretty and very, very long. These days you mostly follow gaming channels like Super Great Friends. And Gold Plated Games, right? Y'all are following the YouTube channel, right? I don't actually care. The YouTube channel is just there for people who can't make it out to the live stream. So yeah, I know. I know, Eva. I know. Iron Mouse got wind of the video and stream watching it. Moonlight Jewel rated her and they worked out sending adult. Oh, that's awesome, Fury Fighter. That's super cool. As I said, gaming channels like Super Great Friends. I unsubscribed. I unsubscribed when you started posting the VODs 3 or 4 times. Hello, what is happening? Hello, Arcane Tradition. Nothing is happening. We're just talking. I haven't started talking about anything important yet. We've been talking about E3 and awards shows. Now we're talking about YouTube. We're having a good old time. We're having a great time. Spreading Souls media is wild for more jockish and more focused on invasions, etc. And then there's super academic side focus on lore videos and theories. That's one of the really cool things I think about the Souls-like games, like the FromSoft Souls games in particular, is like how wide appeal they have from like the super hardcore, like min-max PvP crowd to like the lore junkies, you know? It has such lasting, enduring appeal for both. And I find that really, really fascinating because I mean, you don't really get that with anything else, you know? There's not really anybody out there going super hard into the lore of like PUBG or something, you know? To make a stupid face and slap it on every single VOD upload. I can't even be arsed to do that. I just use whatever thumbnail that YouTube comes up for it. So every single one of my Fallout 2 videos, because I sit on the Steam store page for like the first 30 or 40 minutes of the stream, every single one of my thumbnails for my Fallout 2 videos is the same fucking thing. It's the Fallout 2 store page. I am literally the worst YouTuber on earth. I'm just trash. My channel is trash. Thank you, R. Dominic. Thank you so much. Favorite thing in Soul games, the exploration, really. I would say it's the same for me because my favorite thing in Dark Souls is the world design and discovering how the world is laid out. I still remember the moments. I still remember all those sudden realizations I had in Dark Souls about how everything was connected. I still remember the moment when I realized like where Blighttown was, and I was looking out through like the big pillars holding stuff up, and I finally realized like what was above me, what was below me, and I was just like, holy shit, this is amazing. Reino Narvez Jr. and Lobos Jr. is probably the only VODs I watch with any consistency. Don't say you're trash. Let us say that. I'm sorry. Taking your job, man. I need to have a Robin George random quote generation so we can force you into mugging reflexively. Oh, that would be, oh God. Oh God, that'd be up there with like playing scary noises with terrors. That'd be torment. Just a thing that just hits me with shitty Robin George opinions. Ugh. Ugh. Elden Ring was quite bad for that because open world copy paste. AI writes Robin George, make it happen, people. That can only be an improvement, really. Don't really watch many VODs. I mean, if you're here for the live show, you don't really need to. The couple of variety streamers I watch, I can't really watch them when they're live. So that's the value in VODs for me, is going back and watching the stuff that I wish I could have seen live. It's already been a post-apocalyptic game. This is just redundant. Who needed another Fallout? God, we already have the first one. Probably the biggest letdown with VODs in general, particularly YouTube backups, lack of chat. Especially with smaller streams, is a very big part of the experience, even if you aren't actually taking it in. Yeah, I know people have mentioned putting the chat feed in the videos so that they would be preserved on YouTube. That's like a personal preference thing. I don't like, when I watch videos, I don't keep up with the chat scrolling by anyway, so I know I probably should for my streams, because like 3/4 of what I'm saying is talking with y'all and responding to what y'all are saying. So that's why I always try to make an effort to read out what you say before responding to it. I hope that helps a little bit at least. Use the VODs to sometimes grab random quotes or pieces like the Lara audio. Oh god. Oh god. Interact with the chat enough, it'd be worth it. Yeah. I feel like I feel like this, just me, takes up enough space in the videos anyway, so. Split on the chat feed thing. Context is nice. I don't like it taking up real estate in the video. Yeah. I definitely fall more on the latter than the former. Hey George, have you had a chance to check out Underrail yet? Sure have, Rob. I've been diving this indie RPG, I have to say I'm pretty impressed. Me too. The game takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where humanity has taken refuge in underground metro systems. It's a unique setting that really sets Underrail apart from other RPGs. That's actually the most pleasant Rob and George interaction I've ever had. That is a massive improvement. At least I've never felt like it was worth watching a GPG VOD after vanishing from Twitch. Yeah, I understand that. I can understand that. It's definitely, I mean, when it comes to live streaming, it's the live experience is, you know, that's the major appeal for it. So I wanted to make sure, like on a personal level, I wanted to make sure like the majority of the content that I produced would still be available no matter what. Even if it wasn't popular, even if it wasn't something that people were interested in going back and seeing, I wanted it to be there because I have a paranoia about losing things. I have a paranoia about things just vanishing forever. And if I didn't preserve those VODs somewhere, it would eat at me, I think, just knowing that they were gone, like just lost to the ether. So yeah, I don't care what happens to my YouTube channel. If people watch it, great. If it leads them back to Twitch, even better. But if they just sit there and gather dust with like 2 views or whatever, that's fine because they're there. And that's the important part for me. They get lost to the elixir instead? No way. We're saving the elixir for the very end. And then we're going for it to use it. Usually watch the VODs of the streams I missed. I'm really hyped for. To be honest, I rewatched the D VOD a couple times, and the Unjammer Lammy one too. Oh, that's good. That's good. Drunkish soon. Jammer Lammy was a lot of fun. That was a good time. I tell you what, chat, you want to get started talking about the actual topics for the evening? I never watch VODs because I get frustrated I can't chat. Imagine that. I like chatting. No, all right, we're not talking about it. We do. There's actually a reason for tonight's stream. I don't know. I guess sometimes we could actually do a just chatting stream where there's no topic. There's like no reason for it. We can just sit around and riff like this for 3 hours. I've never really considered that. I always feel like I need to be prepared with something. I always feel like I need contingency plans or something. I mean, yeah, this right here is just pure just chatting. And I mean, we fill a good third of a lot of our streams with just riffing on stuff, so. 2 drinks in tonight, and I just finished playing some OG Resident Evil 3 with my daughter, so I'm off to a good night. That is a good night, dude. That is quite a good night. Topic, what hath thou... Oh, fuck, I can't read that. Oh my god, that font. It's pretty, but also fuck it. Trenzel, that'll be every stream by 2025. It's possible. You never know what's going to happen with this channel. And I feel like we're going to kind of talk about that tonight. I'm not changing anything, but I've had a lot of new and different ideas lately for stuff to do. So, and yeah, who knows what this channel will turn into a year or two from now. It's certainly not what it was a year ago, and it's pretty far from what it was 2 years ago, so yeah. What dost thou doeth abouteth the Friday's streameth? Well, let's talk about this stuff. Let's discuss, because I do have a topic. Are you who you were a year ago? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I change, y'all change, the channel changes as a result. Everything changes. Everything is in flux, and we have to be prepared for that. So, all right, gang. Well, no, he's dumber somehow. All right, so ostensibly, the point of tonight's stream is to talk about what y'all want to see next, what I want to do next, and then finding some common ground there to hammer out a vote that I can go ahead and start tonight. We're actually going to compose voting options tonight live on stream, and I'm going to open up the vote for y'all to start voting on what we're going to play after Fallout 2. But this topic does not only extend to the next game that we're playing after Fallout 2. It's a more general discussion about what we're going to be doing in the coming months. Probably, I mean, the way things go around here, probably all the way up to my summer vacation when I go to Japan. So, because there's a lot of things I've been thinking about doing. I know there's a lot of things that people have been talking about wanting us to do. I vote for no vote. I mean, if we're talking about something and chat is pretty much unanimous on, yeah, let's do this, we can't eschew the vote. If there's a huge groundswell towards something, I'm always up for bypassing democracy. I vote for the end of Audis's tyranny. Tarkov is fun to watch. Fuck if I understand half what's going on. I vote for a cease of streaming activities until Barbie game is playable. Rig voting. Chill building streams forever. Before that though, I wanted to give you all a little context. I wanted to say a little piece about how things have been going. Because not last time, but the time before we did a Just Chatting stream, I guess. Christ, it's been like, what, 6 months? I think it's been 6 months. I think it's been 6 months since we decided, well, I decided. Since I decided on the direction change to weird old games, and I thought you might be interested in knowing how that's been going on the back end, how that's been looking in terms of the metrics. I did not prepare a PowerPoint for tonight. We don't need it. Nope. I knew it was gonna be asked. There will be PowerPoints in the future. There will be things that I'm going to want to diagram horribly for all of you. But not tonight, because it's a doof. Not tonight, because it's honestly a very simple breakdown. Do you use Windows Movie Maker? No, I literally use PowerPoint. Or Google Slides is what I use now. Tradon, if you go back to the Spooktober debrief VOD on YouTube, it was like early November. I literally had a PowerPoint presentation about what we did in Spooktober and the stats on everything, and yeah, Chad had a fucking blast with that. I don't have it tonight because the breakdown is very simple. How have things been since we made the shift to weird old games? The answer is good. Things have been good. The reality of it is that the channel's still growing as steadily as it ever has. I don't think shifting the focus to weird old games and playing the stuff that we've been playing has actually made the channel grow any faster than it was growing originally, but it did do something important. It did have a noticeable impact in another way, and that was making viewership a lot more stable. It didn't raise the ceiling, but it brought the floor up a lot higher. Before the focus on weird old games, when I was going back between like all kinds of stuff, like wide variety, I would sometimes have games that were big hits, and I'd sometimes have games that were like total duds. And you've been doing some of these weird old games? I mean, yes. Not lately, because lately it's just been all Fallout all the time. But yes, we're gonna talk about that too in a sec. But yeah, viewership has been a lot more stable. Oh, I know. There's actually a story to that. I'm gonna get to it in a second. What was our worst game since the change? Actually, you know what? Let me bring up. I can tell you. I'm pretty sure I know what it is. I just don't want to tell you wrong. So let me bring up the stats and review real quick. You know what? I'm actually gonna hang on. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, it's what I thought it was. See what happens when you don't have your metrics handy. Yeah, it was not Monster Bass. No, people are hyped for Monster Bass. No, the metric in terms of metrics, the worst game I played since the shift to Weird Little Games was Romancing Saga. It was the Minstrel Song remaster. So, and then right by that, very close to that was the second Yomawari game. So, I have a theory about that though. Yeah. I actually, okay, so I've learned three things. Well, no, I've learned two things in the past couple of months. I've learned two things, and then I have a third theory that is yet unproven because I have no data on it. But I think it may be factored in. So real quick, let me go through this for you, because I can see y'all have a lot of questions, and I wanna explain some context here that might help answer some of them. First of all, one of the big things, maybe the biggest thing I've learned since switching over to Weird Old Games, is that Weird Old Games isn't quite what I thought the panacea was. It wasn't exactly what I was shifting towards, and now I realize that, because this was inspired largely by our success streaming XCOM Apocalypse, but also we're just showing you at least should have made a bar chart. But also from other stuff we did, like the Dark Forces games and System Shock 2 and the Thief games and stuff. But you may notice all of those are not really weird old games. They're more like classics. And I realized what's actually doing best around here, and this is absolutely held up by the metrics of Fallout and Fallout 2, because the numbers on those have been fantastic. Like, both Fallout games have been some of the most popular games I've done, like, ever. I think the thing that really, really does well here is, like, old classic games that people are probably not going to replay themselves. I think that's the sweet spot. Games that people recognize, names that people recognize, but they've either forgotten about them or they're not inclined to play through them themselves anymore. So yeah, your Fallouts, your System Shocks, your Dark Forces, your Thief games, Alpha Centauri did fantastic. If I was just looking purely at metrics, I should have kept going with Alpha Centauri. I just wasn't feeling that game personally, but the numbers they were great. Same with, unfortunately, it was the same with Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. Soul Reaver was killing it. Soul Reaver might have been the most popular game I ever played on this channel if I had kept going with it. I just physically couldn't, which is very unfortunate, but yeah, people really liked Alpha Centauri, and you know what? Like, people liked it so much, I may go back to it sometime. I feel like, a while back, I think it was when I played Final Fantasy V, I realized that I kind of had the wrong approach to streaming JRPGs. People enjoyed Final Fantasy V, but I wasn't real satisfied with my playthrough. I wasn't real satisfied with how I played it. What's up, Emerald? Good to see you. And I realized it was kind of the approach I was taking to streaming it, because I was streaming it in a different way than I would have played it if I had been playing it solo, offline, right? Alpha Centauri may have been the same thing. I may have just been streaming Alpha Centauri the wrong way. I may have just had the wrong perspective on it for myself. Because, yeah, it seemed like people were loving it. It seemed like people were really, really into it, and I just wasn't feeling it. So we absolutely may try it again someday. We may play some other stuff similar to Alpha Centauri before that to kind of help me get more in that zone, which is something else that we could talk about tonight. That's literally why I've tuned in every night for the Fallout games. I know I'll probably never get around to playing them again, despite how much I want to. Yeah. I think that's a big thing, Chaos. I think that's a big thing. Name recognition, but them just not being games that a lot of people go back to anymore. You know, it's very similar to the appeal of Power Hours. I think like Power Hours touches on so many games that people remember from their childhood or they saw in their childhood. That, I mean, as easy as it is to dig up ROMs and get emulators working, a lot of people just don't go out and do that stuff. So just being on Twitch and showing off stuff like that does really well, honestly. We were, but you're right, you were over the hump for that game. Yeah. I think I just need a different approach. I think Alpha Centauri could work. I just needed a different approach to streaming it. Because those games definitely have lulls. They have humps, they have lulls, and I just have to figure out what to do in those, so. Have your wife play the game slightly off stream and then ta-da, perfect stream. You're gonna suck on our sweet nostalgia for your metrics hit? Dude, what do you think I'm doing for myself here? Why do you think I play so many games from my childhood? I'm basically escaping into my own childhood for 3 hours every night. This is fucking therapy for me, okay? This channel does so much for my mental health just by letting me live my childhood again. If I had to predict something when you get to Pokemon Red Blue, I think you're gonna break all your all-time high. Could be. I watch Power Hours to get you play trash for fun. Do you have an N64? I do not have an N64 yet. I want to get an N64 soon-ish, because I want to make that library of games available. You played one of my favorite games as a kid yesterday, Space Megaforce, which I passed out for. I mean, the hours that the whole time I've been streaming, I've been fighting against my own schedule. The hours that I stream at are a huge handicap for me. I cannot stream during prime time. I cannot stream during the big hours, which would basically be like 3 to 4 hours before I normally stream. As much as I would like to, that's family time. That's the time that I spend with my family, and that's never gonna change. So it's unfortunate that I'm West Coast and 9 p.m. for me is like the middle of the fucking night for pretty much everyone else who wants to watch, but there's just nothing I can do about that. So folks that pass out for watching my stream, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wish there was something I could do, but I'll be your childhood bully. I like Power Hours so much because I was a Genesis kid, so I get to live the Nintendo kid lifestyle through. See, that's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. You know, my whole thing with the Power Hours is Nintendo Power was such a huge formative part of my childhood. I learned about so many games through that. It triggered so much of my imagination. It gave me so many ideas. It exposed me to so many things. It meant so much to me, and I want to do what I can to show people that now. For the people who never had that, for the people that had that in different settings, like with their Genesis or on PC or whatever, for the people who had the same thing and just kind of kept it to themselves the whole time. I want it sounds so cheesy, but I want it to be a celebration of growing up with Nintendo Power. I want to share that experience with everybody. It seems to work. It seems like it really works, so. Because Turok, Quest 64 stream. I'd really like to be awake for a whole stream sometime. I wish I could do something for you, Dominic. I really do. Goddamn right, Quest 64 stream. It's hilarious to me the stream starts at 2 a.m. and yet I still make time for it. I am... Like, there are really no words for how honored I am that some of you make the sacrifice to stay up in the middle of the goddamn night just to watch me play games badly and ramble about stuff. Like, you will... I'm not sure you'll ever understand how much that means to me, that y'all do it. Like, I cannot express my gratitude for that, so... But thank you. Considering N64, few things you should know. US N64 can only output S-Video as its best signal quality unless you plan on modding it for HDMI. Clonix N64 is not feasible. The architecture is an absolute mess. Things like the announced Retron 64 are gonna have major issues with some games, you know, emulation. I think what I'm gonna have to do, I think the most reasonable thing for me to do is get an N64 and an external converter. I would absolutely love to get an HDMI modded N64, but as far as I know, nobody is producing kits right now. So the only modded N64s out there are up on eBay for like 800 bucks or something. And I can't do that. RetroTink does a great job with S-Video to HDMI. That's probably the way I'm gonna go, yeah. Probably what I'm gonna do. I know you want to build the stream. I'll be honest, I like the size. I generally only watch the small streamers. Having hundreds of viewers actually lessens that interaction, which is what I enjoy the most. I've come to terms with the fact that this is probably what my stream is always going to be. At this point, I don't think I'm ever going to hit it big. I don't think this channel is ever going to explode. I don't think I'm ever going to have hundreds or thousands of viewers. And I don't really aspire to that anymore because I'm kind of in the same place. I find this very comfortable. I find this very, very, because it's not really practical for me to go to partner. It's more like if it happens, it happens. Because at this point, I understand a lot about the Twitch ecosystem, and I kind of get what I need to do if I wanted to do that. And I just kind of don't want to. I feel like there's a chance. There's a chance that we may find some happy medium. Like if I start playing management sims like RimWorld or Kenshi and folks really like that and it becomes really popular. If there's a way for me to settle into a more specific popular genre on Twitch, but then again, I don't really want to do that, is the thing. I like the way I do things. I think I just realized I've hit a point where I'm very content doing what I'm doing. I could make changes that would lead to greater growth, but they're changes I don't really want to make. So, turns out unbridled growth is a bad thing, actually. Gestures at capitalist hellscape, so. I mean, look, I'm not. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not sitting here being like, well, I could be partner if I wanted to. I could be in the top 100 if I want to. No, I have not solved all the arcane secrets of hitting it big on Twitch. But I feel like I understand enough that I could make actual moves towards growing this audience by doing things that I don't want to do. You can popularize RoboCop speedruns. If you're getting an S-Video cable, I've done a ton of research and can link you the one I got, which definitely is nice. Trade on, if you could throw that in Discord, that would be super helpful. Throw it in like feedback, if you don't mind. I could be Pokimane if I want to do chat. I could never be that fabulous. One of my personal friends has hit it big. He's partnered full time. It's nice. It's not cozy anymore. I know the work he puts into it is actually work. Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie to you. I still fantasize about streaming full time. I love the idea of being able to quit my job and just stream full time, but I mean, that's not realistic. That is straight up a fantasy because the disparity the disparity between how much money I make at my work being, you know, a manager with like 12 to 13 years experience at this company and being a Twitch streamer, that doesn't work. That does not work. Unless I completely sold out. Unless I did every sponsorship and ran as many ads as I could, there's no way to bridge that gap. It's just not feasible. So there's that. Certainly. As much as I love to fantasize about being a full-time streamer and having a schedule where everybody could watch, that's the thing I really want. I just want to be able to stream during the day so that folks don't have to stay up until ass o'clock to watch me. But yeah, it's just not practical. Mom had a tech crisis. What I missed last time is I got on a tangent about growing the channel and how I'm more or less content with where we are. I've all but given up on aspirations of ever really hitting it big or like reaching partner or anything like that. And I think that's okay because I really like where this channel is. I really like hanging out with all y'all. I really like talking with all y'all like this. I like the lack of expectations. I like how comfortable this is. So now I still focus on metrics and I still focus on playing things that do well, and that's specifically to maintain a healthy environment here. It's simply to maintain a healthy population. You know, if I just played whatever, if I hauled off and played stuff that nobody really wanted to see, we would bleed more people than we brought in, and we wouldn't, you know, chat would be a lot sparser, is the thing. We would all suffer for that if I ended up driving away some of the folks in chat right now by making poor game choices, you know? So that's the real reason that I focus on metrics, and I try to pick games that the most people are interested in seeing and stuff that I'm really hype about too, because I know that helps drive viewer interest if I'm really invested in what we're playing. So I always want to make sure that more people are showing up than are piecing out, because you know it's a reality of Twitch. Like, channels lose people. Sometimes it's circumstances. Sometimes they just get tired of the style of channel. Sometimes the channel changes and they don't. You know, it's just the reality of it. So, and I wanna make sure I'm attracting more people than I'm losing, and I think it seemed to be okay. You played games that I've hated? Oh, I'm sure I have. I'm sure anyone who's been here longer than a couple months has seen me play something that they just did not give a shit about. And I appreciate y'all for powering through that and sticking with me, because not everybody does. Straight up, not everybody does. I have fond memories of prolific chatters, friendly folks, really great community members that were literally only here for like one game. They came out because I was playing like Yakuza or Final Fantasy or something, and when I was done, they were done. That's just the reality of it. This small streamer did Pokemon Nuzlocke that if his Pokemon died, he drew them, and Jane Animations rated him. He got instantly partnered through subs and followers. That's pretty funny. Raid Shadow Legends every Friday. I was on your birthday. You should get to say, fuck it, I'm playing this tonight. That's what I do. That's literally why I did Roller Coaster Tycoon. Nobody requested Roller Coaster Tycoon. Nobody talked about that. I was like, fuck it, I want to play Roller Coaster Tycoon. The year before, I did Grim Dawn. I don't think hardly anyone on this channel is interested in watching me play an ARPG, but I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna play Grim Dawn. What's up, Helveet? I love Roller Coaster Tycoon. Was glad I made that stream. I really enjoyed streaming that too. And honestly, I don't know if it was my birthday or what, but it did a lot better than I thought it would. Friendsword has made it profitable enough. He is part of a successful streaming collective. It's literally an 8-hour plus a day job, even if he only streams for 2 to 4 hours. Got a good personality, has good business acumen, sponsorships and the like are critical. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I could come to terms with doing sponsorships. I mean, it's a stupid thing to be like, I don't know if that's for me, because it's never gonna happen, but Yeah, I may just not be the kind of person that's suited to a life on Twitch. This, you know, having a channel like this, you know, 3 hours a day, doing what I want, doing what the community wants to see, chatting with the people that show up and just having a good time, I think is just, that's my speed. You know, if it makes the channel grow, great. If it makes the channel blow up, we'll deal with that, but this is what I want to do. I'm pretty sure you get a Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship. I'm pretty sure you could get a Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship. I'm pretty sure folks in chat who have never streamed before could get a Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship. I'm pretty sure my wife could get a Shadow Legends sponsorship. Just put a fucking sticker on her work laptop or something. Oh, I was just drunk already? How do you know I haven't already been there? I've seen the plague of HelloFresh stuff lately, yeah. I think you do a lot of really good things. You probably most regular streaming schedule, even among professional streamers. Highly interactive. You had what I call streamer karma. Oh, thank you. Help out other streamers. Gives you a lot of leeway and game choice that people persevere through games they don't love. Well, I appreciate Newhouser. I really appreciate that, and I'm glad to hear that too, because I just want to be comfortable. Not just me. I want y'all to be comfortable. I want everyone who comes by this channel to be comfortable. That is my #1 priority. I want everyone to just be happy and chill here. And it sounds like I'm managing that. It sounds like I've more or less succeeded most of the time. So Shator in the background, Papa Oddish got drunk. HelloFresh actually seems fun to do a sponsorship with since it's food and cooking, but I also like cooking. I just got like 3 sponsorships while we're talking about it. Sure, I'll take a Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship. Oh God, what the fuck was I talking about? Okay, so I was talking about how the channel, God, we haven't even gotten to the voting stuff. I was talking about how the channel's been doing, and I was talking about the things that I've learned. Okay. So there were 3 things, or 2 things in a theory. And I talked about the first thing, where it's actually, the big hits are classic games. Classic games that people aren't going to replay. Stuff like Fallout, Thief, I almost said Raid Shadow Legends, fuck. System Shock, and the like. Okay, so that's one thing, I'm going to make it to point 2. I'm going to do this. Oh, point 2. The other thing I learned. Weird old games do work. Weird old games are fun. And they do really well. Conditionally. The big thing I've learned about streaming weird old games. Yeah, Dragon 2 definitely did well. And there's a reason for that. I strongly believe there's a reason for that. Weird old games do well with a lot of hype. People need to know what I'm doing, and they need to know why I'm doing it. That is literally why people showed up for Monster Bass, okay? Monster Bass was wretched. Monster Bass was terrible. There was nothing good about Monster Bass. It wasn't so bad it was good. It was so bad it was bad. But a lot of people showed up for it because I hyped it really, really hard. Yeah, Dave. Yeah, Dave, more like Monster Ass. I'm still upset I missed Monster. Don't. You saved yourself. It was literally a painful experience for people. It was making people nauseous. It was hurting their ears. It was absolutely one of the worst things I've ever streamed. But it did great because I hyped it up really hard. I feel like D is the same thing. D was so slow. D was so dumb. I mean, D was very memeable. D was like the perfect cross section. It had enough stupid shit in it to be able to push past all the tedium and garbage in it. But that brings me to my second point. The other thing that I learned about doing weird old games. Weird old games work best if they fit into one stream. I think D was great for one stream. If that had been like a 6-hour game, I am not convinced I could have gotten people to come back for it. And I feel like stuff like Tecmo's Deception really suffered because of that. Tecmo's Deception was definitely a weird old game, but man, it outstayed its welcome. It's a shame Lifeline is so fucking long. So yeah. I was probably the only time I really bumped you about something. Please check the. Oh, sorry. What was that? Yeah, you pinged me on too. You're a very comfy person, a very comfy stream. You engage constantly with your audience. You manage to just chill and have a good time during each and every one of your streams. Laid back night, just chilling with friends and shooting the shit. Reminds me of the kind of nights I have in my college dorm. Tradon, that is exactly what I'm going for. I know I said that a lot early on, is like, when I was in college, like a huge part of my college life was going over to my buddy's place. 4 of my friends lived together in an apartment, and they had this great console setup with emulators and shit. And every single day after class, I would just go straight over to their place, and we would sit around and we would play games. One person would play, we didn't even play multiplayer stuff. One person would play games, and we would just sit there and we would riff on what they were doing, and we'd talk about other stuff. And that is exactly what I wanted to capture with my streams. And I am so glad that comes through. I am so glad that actually works for people. I'm so happy. I'm so happy right now. Grid-based PS1 stuff is probably gonna be boring or get boring eventually. Yeah, I think that's a reasonable supposition. Same mentality with Maximilian Dude in his stream. Sleepy College Dorm Night describes the stream for you perfectly. Good. Oh, I'm so happy. I feel like a lot of us sitting around the table with a pizza between us, the comfy feeling when I'm chatting with y'all, sending my stupid shit. Yeah, oh man. Yeah, if there was some way for all of us to get together with like a pizza and like have like movie night or play old PS1 games or something, like that is the traditional in-person version of this. What you're saying is, no, we're not Seinfeld. Jesus Christ. Go back to watching your horrible dystopian AI Seinfeld knockoff. What's the deal with JRPGs? Does that make Eva Newman? Oh my god, it does. Oh my god, it does. Okay, I might be coming around to this analogy. Also kind of do that with TNG stuff on Discord. Yeah, exactly. I mean, more than anything, I'm just glad this whole thing works for people. I'm so glad people vibe with what we do here. I'm disgruntled is true. Stream a Barbie movie, Oddish. Mattel would fucking destroy me. Mattel would fucking end me. Stole their dinosaur DNA. Really need to stream more TNG. Yeah, I know people have been looking for that. So okay, so big classic games are the main winners, at least for long playthroughs. Weird old games better suited for short playthroughs, and I gotta hype them up. The last thing, it's not a learning, it's a theory. I have a theory. I have no data for this. I have a single data point, which does not prove anything, but it relates to Romancing Saga. It relates to playing the Minstrel Song remaster. I have a theory that when it comes to retro games, which basically is what this channel is more or less known for at this point. Single data point is a start. Every chart starts with a single data point. I have a theory that no, it has nothing to do with the game itself, actually. Oh, it's gonna be fight. Dominic Tosk about throw down here. About to lay hands. I have a theory that remakes of old games don't do as well on my channel as the actual originals. And the reason I think this, and it's not a good reason, I admit that, I copped to this, again, single data point, is because I did stream a little bit of the original Romancing Saga. And yes, that was like at the end of a night where I had streamed a bunch of other random stuff. It wasn't just that, but people stuck around for that. Numbers on it were fine. People seem interested. That was cool. And then when I did the Minstrel Song remaster, it didn't do well. It really didn't. It fell off precipitously fast. And I think it's probably because it looked like a modern game. As I think it's as simple as that. Modern games don't do well on my channel because the folks that we have around here like to play modern games for themselves. You know, they're not coming around to see new releases so much, unless it's like a variety night kind of thing. They're not coming around to see full playthroughs of new releases in general. There are exceptions to all of this. Again, it's a theory. It's, you know, not really backed up by data. But I think if people are browsing the retro, the other thing is I lost the retro tag. I streamed it under the Minstrel Song tag, which I probably put too much stock in those tags, but I feel like it really does have an effect. But regardless, I feel like if people are browsing the retro tag and they see me, they see a screenshot of my channel doing a little pixel art 16-bit RPG, I think they're gonna click on that. I think that's gonna get people in here. Whereas a slick, modern 3D looking RPG is not gonna attract so much because I'm just not a channel that people come to for that kind of thing. The remakes and remasters lack the quaintness of original hardware playing, or at least OG hardware emulation. I do think the old 8-bit, 16-bit, you know, chunky PlayStation graphics, I think they do make a difference. I think they are part of the appeal, at least for the audience that I've cultivated here. So, thus the lack of Claire B. Need that Claire B, man. What you're saying is this is an Elden Ring channel now? So just be a permanent Just Chatting streamer and just happen to be playing something else over it? That's not outside the realm of possibility. To be honest, as we got you here, I found you through the Power Hours. Yeah. RE Remake was a shot in the dark. I do think there are exceptions to this. Again, I don't think this is, you know, I don't think it's a hard and fast rule. I feel like Resident Evil games kind of play by their own rules. I feel like they don't necessarily track with everything else. It's like Souls games play by their own rules, you know? There are always going to be exceptions. There's always going to be games that kind of break that mold. I'm not talking about something as well known as Resident Evil. Like Romancing Saga is far more niche than something like Resident Evil. I think if you're playing OG Resident Evil 1 or Resident Evil 1 Remake, people are gonna see that screenshot and they're gonna click on it if they're into Resident Evil. But something like Romancing Saga, JRPG fans, I think the audience that I have, people are a lot more likely to click on a 16-bit pixel art screenshot than they are like a full fancy 3D one, you know? I keep waiting for gameplay to start. It's not happening tonight. Is it messing with your brain? Is it messing with your brain that I'm actually not gonna play? We're not playing anything tonight. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I haven't even gotten to the main thing I want to talk about tonight. I imagine the second artist streams Claire B, gets 2,000 viewers and invited a partner right away. It's just, it's Pandora's box. I can't bring myself to open it. A lot of us do love our horror. You could do a year of horror and probably have high numbers almost every night. I did consider that when I was searching for a channel direction. I wasn't really just debating between retro games and indie games. I had other more long shot possibilities in mind, and horror was chief among them. Because horror has always been a major component of this channel. I did a lot of horror games when I started out. Spooktobers have always been a thing around here. And I know they do well. At least for variety streamers. At least on the scale that I'm at. I know I have the utmost confidence that it would do well. I don't think I would enjoy doing it. I don't think I could do nothing but horror. I think if nothing else, it'd be too stressful for me. I think it would stress me out. He's stripping off, chat. Found you through Retro when you were playing Final Fantasy Legend 3. Came back a month or so later and playing System Shock 2. Oh, that worked out, didn't it, Chaos? Biggest example for me of a remake that ended up making the game feel like a mobile game was The World Ends With You Final Mix. Up-res graphics made it feel cheaper, like it had less soul and less heart. Combined with the change in the control scheme, making the game easier, removing one of the two gameplay screens doesn't feel like the game anymore. It feels like a cheap and watered-down way to play it. I can't imagine that you're the only person that feels that way. And my theory is sentiment like that factored into the performance of Romancing Saga. So we will get to put this to a test eventually. Eventually, I am going to play Romancing Saga 2 and 3. I'm going to play the versions that are on Steam. They are technically remasters, but they look far closer to the originals than Minstrel Song did. So we'll have more data points to that effect, at least. Forever appreciate Slowbee for dumping me here during some game I forgot. Man, those slow beef raids really made a difference. I got some folks here from those slow beef raids that have been like just long time great community members. Glad I caught you when I did in Dragon Quest Builders 2, because I think there's only one or two other games you played in all the time I've been here I might have checked out your stream for. It's so funny, Lojo High, because I feel like you've been here forever. I feel like you've just always been here. So it still kind of blows my mind a bit that you actually came in with Dragon Quest Builders 2. Like there was a pre-Lodril High time. Tune out almost all the horror stuff. That's the other thing. That's the other thing. I know specializing any further is going to cost me people. And at this point it's gonna cost me people I really don't want to lose. So horror has always been a major component of this channel. My man, you gotta stop teeing up softballs for me. You want to challenge, Eva? I know I first showed up during a Spooktober. The diet of horror-only games would make my sleep schedule a lot easier. Yeah. I really want Oddish to play Waxworks so much. I'd actually like to play Waxworks sometime. I have that. I have a sheet. I have a sheet of stream notes here, and I have a short list of games that like I really want to play. And actually, Waxworks is on there. It's one of like a dozen games on there. Whatever, they're all shitty, not scary horror. Oh, if we only did bad horror games? I gave Romancing Saga a chance, it really didn't draw me in at all. I mean, I think the other thing is I wasn't really into Romancing Saga either. I mean, that was doubtless a big factor too, which is another reason I don't want to take any direct learnings from my experience with Romancing Saga, because I just wasn't really feeling it. That'd be even worse than the good ones. Could be the #1 Bendy and the Ink Machine streamer. I would rather quit. I would fucking rather quit. Even you came in from a slow beef raid. Holy shit. So I guess it really was a mixed blessing. Taking that as a compliment, you absolutely should. You absolutely should. Here because Twitch recommended me while you're playing Yoda Stories of all things? Holy shit. Chat, hold up, chat. I got a viewer from playing Yoda Stories. If that's not a vote of confidence in weird old games, I don't know what is. Jesus Christ. Marilyn Katz was finishing a stream, didn't have anyone on to raid. I thought the recommended channels tab was people affiliated with the streamer. Here was my lunch break, joined the Discord. Wow, no kidding, Fury. That's interesting. What were you playing the first time I came in? Amnesia, I think. Really? Your enthusiasm plays some part in the stream sometimes, except when it came to Alpha Centauri. There it detracted, unfortunately. There was Yoda Stories, yes. What the fuck is a Yoda? Let me find it real quick. It's VODed. I know it's up there. Well, shit, now y'all making me nervous. I'm gonna have to redo Yoda Stories at some point. Oh, it was when I finished Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2. I finished Dark Forces 2 a little early, and I had time to play something else. May 7th, 2021. So almost 2 years ago. Yeah, I played Jedi Knight for May the 4th 2 years ago. And then at the conclusion of that, I played Yoda Stories. So I actually haven't done a full stream of Yoda Stories. And I kind of hate that I just admitted that. Vote of confidence and mouth frothing insanity. You should play more Yoda Stories. I got rated in from last bosses, which is funny since I haven't really watched in a while. That happens too. That happens too. I've definitely had viewers that I've rated somebody or I've suggested another channel, and they check out that channel, and it turns out that channel is more their speed than mine. And you know what? That's great. I'm glad things like that happen. You know, a streamer can't be selfish about their audience. They can't be selfish about their community, because their community might not be necessarily the best place for anyone, you know? You want a good streamer wants the people that come in and visit their channel and join their community to be happy, you know? And if they're gonna have a better time in another community, then if that's the way they go, can only be happy for them, you know? It's been an hour and a half since we started. Are we gonna get on topic soon? Probably not. You finished Dark Forces 2 in one playthrough? No, I finished it in 3 nights. It took me 3 nights to finish Jedi Knight. And not a full 3 nights. On the 3rd night, I played Yoda Stories. And there was much rejoicing. May the 4th is in a few months. I gotta figure out what to do for that. I don't actually know. Because with Dark Forces, with Jedi Knight, with Jedi Outcast, I knew going in what I wanted to do, and then last year was a total bust. Jedi Outcast sucked. Republic Commando sucked. I don't know what I'm going to do this year. It might be determined by the games we play in the lead up to it, honestly. Because we got what, 3 months? Almost 3 months until May the 4th. So yeah, I think what we play between now and then we'll have a pretty big hand, because there's a lot of there are still a lot of Star Wars games out there that I haven't touched, and they run the gamut of genres. So whatever you do, don't stream Star Warped. Play games with Force in the title. Sentient idea for something with something. Streamer can't be selfish about their audience or community. They can't get understandably upset if people keep telling them they're leaving their stream to watch someone else. I mean, even that doesn't bother me, really. I totally understand other streamers getting upset at that, but honestly, there are a lot of things that streamers are sensitive about that I am not. Like, you can totally be like, wow, this stream sucks. I'm gonna go watch Maximilian Dude or whatever. And I'll be like, have a good one. See you later, bro. I don't mind at all, honestly. I've had people tell me that, like, my stream is perfect for going to sleep to. And you know what? I am still providing a valuable service. Please show off your desktop. Sure. You wanted this, chat. You asked for this. You got upset when I said she had good hat hair. This was your choice. Would it be too insulting to play a Star Trek game during May the 4th? I would kind of be down with that. I could live with that. I still can't hear anything for some reason, but I'm screaming. I'm still so sorry for Republic Commando. I really like the first level. I didn't get past it because of hardware issues. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. Don't ever feel bad for recommending me a game that ends up sucking. I mean, we've got Eva right here who will consciously recommend every game that sucks specifically because it sucks. You can't ever do worse than Eva. You've always got that floor to rest upon. I never played Indie Stories. No, I didn't even know Indie Stories was a thing until a couple years ago. I only knew about Yoda Stories. POV Sonic just Googled Rule 34. Monopoly GB is a classic. Even our unified front for Jericho Hell. Oh my god, you all do not understand what you're doing. Had to refresh, audio's back now. Okay, good. Good. Perspective check, this is not as horrifying as the first version of Sonic from the movie commercials. That's also true. That's also true. I do. I have seen all of Jericho. You are a total sadist then. You're an absolute sadist. Honest, I don't like it. All right. All right, back here. I will save you. I will save you from Big Head Sonic. So. All right. You know what? We've been dancing around for a bit, chat. Let's get into, cuz we're kind of touching on. Let's get into the actual meat of the conversation tonight. It's 10:35. We spent an entire hour and a half, actually more than that, because I started a little early, bantering about, laying down context, talking about completely unrelated things. Let's talk about what we're gonna do. Let's talk about what's in the future. So here's how this is gonna work. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's my plan. First things first. I want to hear what y'all are interested in seeing. After that, I am going to tell you what I've been interested in doing. Some of this I think you already know because I've talked about it so much lately. I can't help it. My brain just leaks enthusiasm for future streams. But I don't want to go first because I don't want to poison the well anymore. I want to hear what y'all are thinking. And then after that, we're gonna see if we can find a middle ground. We're gonna see if we can find some compromises between stuff that you want to see and stuff that I want to do, and we're gonna build a vote out of that. And we'll get into the actual mechanics of that later. But to start with, I want to make something clear. I want to make sure we're all on the same page here. I want to hear what y'all want me to stream. I want you to be honest. I want you to tell me what you're interested in seeing, what you think we should play on the channel. And by the same token, I am going to be honest too. When I am streaming most nights and people are like, oh, Oddish, you should do this. Oh, Oddish, you should check this out. I'm usually very like, okay, yeah, I'll take a look at that. Yeah, we can think about that. We can talk about that. Tonight, I'm gonna be a bit more honest. When y'all propose things. If it's something that I am not in the mood for, if it's something that I don't think fits well in the channel, I'm just gonna tell you. I'm just gonna tell you straight up. Are we talking games or genres? Both, really. I want to hear what y'all are thinking in any capacity. I want to hear if you're thinking about a specific game or games we should play. I want to hear if you're interested in us exploring a particular genre. If you want us to revisit something we've done, continuous series, really anything you're thinking. I am open to that, and I will give you my honest responses, what I think about that. So. Randomizers, Link to the Past, Souls, Metroidvanias, King Field 2. Okay, well that's a big vote for randomizers. I'm definitely interested in doing randomizers. Y'all that were here last night for the Power Hours know I finally touched upon Link to the Past randomizers, and that was met to great accolades. So, mainline Touhou Mountain of Faith fits in our one stream or less on Steam. I do love shmups. I do love Touhou. I have not played a proper Touhou shmup in a long time, and I would definitely be interested in doing that. So, reminds me still after all this time have not done visual novel community theater. That is true. That is true. It's a possibility. It's not something I want to do right now. I'm interested in retro jank. That is definitely a broad topic, and that's definitely something we can do. I'm gonna propose Mad Rat Dead rhythm platformer for being specific. We're talking non-specific. I don't know. I think it'd be fun to do some weird, wild FMV games. Okay, FMV games are definitely a genre I'm interested in. I see all kinds of stuff: roguelikes, shmups, Souls likes, NES RPGs. Okay, well you should be pretty happy wherever we end up, RV Winkle. Might just mean I want more import SNES and NES games, more creative games, maybe there's digital toy box or art or video making software. The latter we're definitely gonna see more of as we go through Nintendo Power. I never had any of those other than Mario Paint. That's the only one I was very familiar with. The other ones we'll rediscover through the magic of Nintendo Power. As for the former, import SNES and NES games. I want to work in more free-for-all nights like we tried with the NES. I had a good time with that, and it seemed like people really enjoyed just being able to go hog wild and request stuff that doesn't show up in the magazine. It's just now we have the added complexity of trying to fit that in between the Power Hours proper and big stuff like Final Fantasy Mystic Quest that we're gonna play. So that might be a bit tricky, but I do want to do that. Finished Project Warlock? Nice. Fun, like a unique weapon evolution thing. The gameplay was pretty easy. Had 30 lives by the end of the game. Well, I guess you're playing on too low of a difficulty. Sounds like a skill issue. Yes to randomizers. Yes. Randomizers, puzzle games, hogs, puzzle platformers, escape rooms, Rusty Lake, story-rich games. Legend of the Ghost Lion. I'm kind of interested in doing Legend of the Ghost Lion myself. I'm wondering if maybe we hit a Nintendo Power issue that doesn't have a big game in it that's worth doing a full playthrough. Maybe we should go back and do maybe we should do Legend of the Ghost Lion in between issues if y'all are really interested in it. You also have I would give y'all permission to doom stream that one as well. That seems very doom streamish. Let me assemble that better. Randomizers, Link to the Past, Souls, Metrovanias, or Kingsfield 2. Okay, fair enough. Randomizers, shmups, puzzles. Oh, hang on, clicked the wrong thing. 100% serious, more hidden object games. Okay, so let me assuage some fears here real quick. Hidden object games. Hidden object games are a lock. I had a fucking blast doing Infected the Twin Vaccine. Chat loved Infected the Twin Vaccine. Hidden object games are not going to be something we vote on. They're not going to be something that I'm going to ask you about. Instead, what I want to do is I want to put hidden object games in between our big games. I want to leave a little buffer between each of our big games to do at least one hidden object game. And on that note, let me skip ahead a bit and let you know what we're doing next week. While the vote for our next big game after Fallout 2 is running, because I am 99% sure that we're going to finish Fallout 2 on Monday. I am very confident that's going to happen. If that happens, assuming that happens, on Tuesday, I am going to take the admittedly inadvisable path of streaming Fallout Tactics for one night. This is not because anybody wants me to do this. This is because I want to do this, because I've only ever played the demo for Fallout Tactics and I want to give it an actual try. It's going to be a one night thing unless people are really into it. Mysteriously. I absolutely cannot see chat going hog wild for Fallout Tactics after like a month and a half of OG Fallout, okay? Okay, our Dominic will. Nobody else will. That's pretty normal. So one night of Fallout Tactics. Next Wednesday, we're doing another hidden object game. It's one we've talked about. Hey! It's one we've talked about. I haven't streamed it at all. You haven't seen it before, and it's fucking amazing. Hey! Yes, in less than a week, next Wednesday, we play our next hog. And it's a good one. Oh, it's a good one. I'm really excited about this one. So, don't worry about hogs. Hogs are locked in, and they're not even going to take up Friday streams either. They're going to be buffers between every major game. That is my decision. Also, I have to catch up on chat. I'm really behind right now because I want to make sure I hit every person's suggestion. I also want to mention, when it comes to randomizers, we actually have a choice there. And this is something I want you to consider because there is the possibility of putting a randomizer on the vote tonight. I see two possibilities for approaching randomizers. One is to vote for like Link to the Past randomizer as like a major game to play. And if we go that route, I'm probably going to be on it for like a couple weeks. It's not going to be like one run of a Link to the Past randomizer. It's going to be me taking the time to learn them. I'm going to do multiple. I might move up through harder ones or try different ones. So if you are really committed to the idea of doing randomizers, that might be the direction you want to take. If not, if that seems like a bit much, we could also treat randomizers like hogs. I could make the space in between each big game, big game, not just like one that takes like 1 week or whatever, but make the space between each big game that we play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then when we finish it, do a hog, do a randomizer run, and then do the next game. So there are 2 approaches to this, and it's gonna take me a couple minutes to get up to how y'all feel about that, because I'm still back catching up on everybody's suggestions. You already said it's gated by no sale, but I will watch Romancing Saga enough for all of it. We are gonna do Romancing Saga 2. If people are interested in that, we can put it on the vote tonight. I want to see some Armored Core, Ace Combat, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Souls-likes, randomizers of games you know and don't know so well, RPGs, point-click adventures, strategy games like Age of Empires, Command & Conquer. Ooh, strategy games. Strategy games would be pretty neat. I did enjoy the night we did the Command & Conquer remaster. That was cool. And I love Age of Mythology. I have had this low-key desire to stream the campaign from Age of Mythology for a long time. That's a distinct possibility. I know game show streams are sometimes food. I love those. Lots of audience participation. I think the power hours are going to be pretty reliable for those Helvete. I mean, Eva already requested Monopoly for tomorrow night's power hours, which I actually refunded because I hated that idea so much. But you're going to be able to request it again tomorrow night. But I think every opportunity people are going to have to do Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy or Pictionary or what the fuck ever, I think people are going to take that. So. Classic shooters were nice. You feel something less involved. Going specific, Call of the Sea, Carto, Hue, maybe Braid. Maybe Braid, huh? Call of the Sea and Carto. I am interested in both of those. I think those would fit in fine somewhere. They're not retro games. They're certainly not weird old games, but they are games that I am genuinely interested in, and I think it would be fine to dip out for the time it would take to do either of them. If people are interested in those, they can, one or even both could go on the vote tonight. I'd be curious to see a night of you trying Hi-Fi Rush, not a full playthrough, but maybe just a smidgen. That sounds like a Friday thing. That sounds like it could make a decent Friday stream. Serious talk, I think randomizers limit interest to people who knew the games being randomized well. That is a possibility. That is a possibility. That is a potential argument against doing big stretches of randomizers. But I think they would still work as little incidental things in between big games along with hidden object games. NES Grab Bag the other week was pretty fun. I want to do more of those. I want to fit in more of those. It may be difficult. I don't know if we're going to do another one soon, because I really want to start Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Maybe after Mystic Quest. We'll see. More Zelda. I vote for you to play Space Mega Force again, this time using the XLR buttons to control the weapons. If I tell you what, Newhouser, if you are around tomorrow night and Rob and George have the temerity to talk about Space Mega Force, request it and I'll play it again. Serious Time randomizers seem to be a perfect way to generate loads of content that never goes anywhere. Is that... I'm not sure if that's if you mean a good thing or a bad thing by that. I want point and click adventure games. I kind of do too. Point and click adventure games, I'm a little nervous about because they are very slow. I think they could work. There are some that I really want to do, but I'm a little antsy about how long people would stick around for them. That means yes. Hogs are something that doesn't really come to mind for me. Whenever they come up, there's schlocky fun. Yeah, I Infected the Twin vaccine has really rekindled my interest in hogs. I haven't played one in a long time, but yeah. Hide the hogs in between streams. I love this idea. Sound good. Shadows mentioned this last time. I'll also be interested in the strangely serious Nutcracker. I'll have to look that one up because I don't know that one. A Nutcracker hog. Shadows gonna be hogged out of its gourd. Try and fine point my Chaos of Brain flow. Classic FPS, shmups, classic RTS, City Builders, Armored Core, Ace Combat's older games, Zelda and Metroid randos, classic RE2 randomizer for one night. I think I know where you're coming from, Fury Fighter. There's a lot of overlap in what you're interested in and what I'm interested in doing. And I know the Resident Evil push is always there. That's always in the back of my mind. Platformer randomizers for like Super Mario World. I'm 99% sure there are. Yeah, Helvete played one. There you go. Point and click adventures, Space Quest, Sam and Max specifically. Maybe. My personal interest is in doing Wadjet iGames. Like, let's see. Like, I just got the excavation of Hobbs Barrow, which I think we played the demo for a while back. That seemed pretty cool. But their whole back catalog, I'm interested in playing. Again, though, I don't know how they'll go over for streams. Hard for me to judge in advance how much of any specific rando I'd want to see in one go. I think we're just gonna have to try it out. Play Jagged Alliance. I would like to play Jagged Alliance sometimes. RTS, please. There's a Super Mario World randomizer. That'd be interesting. Second suggestion after Legend of the Ghost Line would be a fan translated game like Energy Breaker and Akongwa. We'd have to see about fitting that in somewhere. I think that would be, I don't think that'd be a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday game. I think that might be something to fit in like on a Power Hours special or something. So overwhelmed with all these choices, but honestly, I'm totally okay with that. Here to vibe and chat. There's a great game on the schedule. That's a bonus. I mean, you know, the other thing, if y'all are kind of overwhelmed by the possibilities here, you don't necessarily have to contribute something yourself. If people are talking about things that are interesting to you, when we try to that's really fucking wild looking, actually. I haven't watched, Jesus Christ, that's some pixel art. I haven't actually watched the trailer for this game before. This is nuts. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to throw out your own ideas. If people mention stuff that you're interested in, just make sure when we start talking about what's going to actually go on the vote, voice your support for things to make sure it gets on there. We're doing more Mystery of the Druids? No, not a chance. Mystic Quest wouldn't take you too long. I believe Mystic Quest is going to take exactly 5 streams. So the plan is actually to start Mystic Quest next Thursday, the 9th, which means we'll play it the 9th, the 11th, the 16th, the 18th, and the 23rd. So Mystic Quest is actually going to take up most of the Power Hour slots for February. And then on the 25th, we can either start a new issue or we can do a free-for-all night. Fan translations are good. Hi-Fi Rush is a new game. It channels a lot of old games, does something novel through maybe not weird, though maybe not weird since it's rhythm character action. It does look cool. I am curious about it. Christmas Stories Nutcracker is a strangely serious Nutcracker RPG. Is that on Steam? Christmas Stories Nutcrackers Collector's Edition. Oh, it's Big Fish. Okay. Big Fish has traditionally been pretty hit and miss for me. Blackwell stuff was good. I would love to get in the Blackwell series. Spelunky is technically a Wadjet Eye game in a certain sense. It has a Wadjet Eye in it, yeah. I'd love to see some multiplayer nights pop up from time to time. I have to say, on the subject of multiplayer nights, I'm not against... we can do them sometimes. I'm probably not going to choose to do them myself. Because multiplayer nights make it really hard for me to chat with chat. If we're doing like Discord comms for whatever we're playing, like when we did when we did Phasmatopia or Visser Cleanup Detail, and I don't love that. I don't love that. If y'all want to play multiplayer games without voice chat, that's cool. I think that's easier for me to get into, but I think when we do voice chat, I feel like this is nothing against y'all. I feel like I lose a bit of control over the channel, and I'm not able to interact with Twitch chat the way I normally do. So yeah, as long as we have that understanding, I think we can do more multiplayer nights. Competitive multiplayer might paradoxically be a better way to go, since we wouldn't be, it wouldn't require communication. We'd just be fucking each other up. I really like doing golf with your friends. I am personally always down for a golf with your friends stream. But yeah, I would say if y'all want to do multiplayer nights, make them community nights. I think there's already some ideas being bandied around for February community night, so maybe not this month, but next month, if y'all have been really hurting for a multiplayer night, maybe pull it together as a community night. Hadn't seen this before. It looks cool. I might pick this up. Use some rotoscoping. Oh, yeah, excavation of Hobbs Barrow. Yeah. Play The Last Express. I would love to play The Last Express. I always meant to. I think for a while it was like the highest rated game in PC Gamer like ever. If I remember correctly. Jordan Mechner's magnum opus. That's what I wanted to ask, since you're answering directly. Is Zone of the Enders 1 and 2 something you have any interest in? Maybe sometime. Definitely not right now. I'm not particularly interested in a Zone of the Enders or anything Kojima. Not anything against him or his games. Just not in the mood for that kind of thing at the moment. When we played Streets of Rogue together, I basically had to bow out of chat while I was going. You did the Room games. Did you do House of Da Vinci? Yes, I did all of those. I've done all of the Room games that are on Steam, and I've done all the House of Da Vinci games that are on Steam. Oh, just gets reamed by chat and Red Alert Remastered. Oh, y'all would love that, wouldn't you? Just fucking own me over and over again in RTSs. Yeah, we could totally do that. I don't know if this is a strangely serious Nutcracker game. I have to check if there are multiple Nutcracker hogs. My memory may be fuzzy, and that's why I don't recognize it. One last one, Devil May Cry 1. Is that coming this year for vote by chance? I want to do the Devil May Cry series. It's not been a priority for me. It hasn't been like stuff like the Thief series, the Zelda series, the Saga series have been much higher priorities for me. But I do want to do the Devil May Cry series. We can play Crusader Kings together so I can sacrifice you to Satan. I mean, make alliances. Well, that's the end of my screwdriver. Good times, chat. Good time. Otters gets combo jungled in Tekken. We could do fighting games. I like fighting games. I don't know how many people around here actually would play as the thing. I know there's some folks here who definitely would, but I don't know if that would be like a community-wide thing. And that's the other thing. That's the other thing about multiplayer games is I don't want to play something that like 1 or 2 people are going to play and everybody else is going to get kind of bored of. And I feel like fighting games, unless there's something with very broad appeal, like I don't think King of Fighters would fly. I think it would be like me and 2 other people doing sets, and I would enjoy that, and the people I was doing sets with would enjoy that. I don't think it would make for a very good stream. What about Smash Ultimate with items on? We've done Smash Ultimate, and it was actually pretty fun. That is not outside the realm of possibility. Jackbox would be fun as hell. I've been on Jackbox streams before. They can be fun, yeah. Not totally my thing. I think I would be more inclined to join someone else's Jackbox stream. Like if y'all wanted to do a Jackbox night on Discord, that's probably a good idea. Distance is too much for me to play most competitive games without pissing most people off. Yeah, that's another thing, the connection too. Yeah, people in the domestic US probably wouldn't have too much of a problem. I don't know, Smash has really shitty netcode. Smash, as much fun as Smash is multiplayer, yeah, it gets pretty jank. You don't want to be on Facecam while you flounder with the trivia. Yeah, I think I'd get social anxiety doing that. As weird as that sounds, me being here streaming for like 4.5 years, there's still stuff that gives me anxiety. Mario Kart 8 would be, oh yeah, I have Mario Kart. We could definitely do Mario Kart. In fact, let me put this out here. If y'all want to do a multiplayer night, I would actually push for Mario Kart. I would actually support that one. Because yeah, my younger daughter wanted Mario Kart for Christmas. And of course she got it, and I've been playing it with her. Man, it's fun. Yeah. That might actually make me buy Mario Kart 8 for the Switch. I'm just salty that I paid for the Wii U one. Yeah, that's a pain. It's a shame they didn't do anything for people that bought it on one system and then just had to watch it get ported to the next. Need to get a Switch one of these days. Might as well. Loja has a really good point. Gartic Phone is good multiplayer. I don't really know what that is. I'd have to look into it first. But yeah, again, in general, I am disinclined from doing multiplayer games just on personal preference. I feel like I feel like it doesn't really fit with the strengths of how I run this channel. We can do them. We can do them if y'all really want to do them, but they'll probably need to be through community nights or something that I'm personally interested in doing, like Mario Kart. Telephone Pictionary, I almost laughed my guts out playing Gartic Phone. It's just me, chat. It's a me thing. I've never been a huge multiplayer guy. Even when I went through my phases playing like Team Fortress 2 and Vermintide 2, I didn't really like playing with other people. It was just the only way to play those games. So if the One Piece TCG gets a Switch game, I'll learn that shit. Okay, yeah. If there's any digital version of the One Piece card game, I'm probably gonna play that a lot. I don't know. I could stream it, I suppose. I don't know how interesting that would be, but I would definitely play that. I would love for them to do that, especially since it's so goddamn hard to get the cards. So, okay. I think before it gets too late, I should probably let y'all in on what I've been thinking, and then we need to pull a vote together so that people can go ahead and contribute to the actual vote construction before I start dropping like flies. I was talking about gaming, just remind me of the X-Files episode about don't think about that even. Please don't think about that. Not that one. Please. Think about Jose Chung's From Outer Space or something. Think about Fluke Man. Anything but that. Okay, so actually I have a question. Before I launch into the stuff that I've been thinking about. It's something that I've been curious of because we just did something that we don't normally do. And that is play a sequel immediately after the original. We just did Fallout 1, immediately followed by Fallout 2. How did y'all feel about that? Did y'all like that we continued with something that we were doing? Did you like that we continued a series directly? Or do you prefer do you prefer us to change things up more frequently? I didn't vote for it. I liked it, just don't do it with like Dragon Quest. So it really depends on the series for you then. I have to assume if I did a Resident Evil game and then went straight into another Resident Evil game, you'd probably be down for that. Too much Fallout for you, RV? Too much for you, Arcane? Rather have a little distance when they're as long as Fallouts are. Chaos liked it, but it was the only thing you were okay with having lost out to Thief 3. More fan changing things up. There's definitely games I'd be more okay with than others. Okay, so it sounds like it's a conditional thing. I don't think Fallout was a bad idea because I mean just numbers wise, Fallout 2 has been doing great. But I do understand that it's a conditional thing. I do understand that not every series is going to benefit from doing them back to back to back. Fallout 1 and 2 is really something special. I feel that. Yeah, for Chaos, Fallout was basically the only thing you'd be okay with having back to back. I wish you were a little less mean with votes. It seemed like you're allowed to put all the popular things on this one. It was just, it wasn't necessarily the popular things. It was all the things that I wanted to do. And unfortunately, all the things I wanted to do were popular. So it wasn't intentional. I don't try to bury things in votes. I pick 3 to 6 things that I'm interested in doing. And so from that perspective, if you have the same taste as me, that's going to be a really mean vote because it's all going to be stuff that you want to see. That's what I'm doing every time. I'm putting out all the stuff that I want to see, and I have to watch 5 of my 6 babies get killed. So, get on my level. I just remember at the end of the day, the choice is an illusion, all controlled to some degree. Okay, so let me talk about what I've been thinking about doing. Let me talk about what I'm interested in doing, and let's see what what of those ideas interests you, and then let's take some of your ideas, let's take some of my ideas, let's put them on a vote. It's not happening. It's after 11 o'clock. I have to get this done. I can't let one of these GP Talk streams fail. I like seeing you play through Soma while I was there. That's just a personal thing. I never streamed Soma. I played Soma long before I started streaming. Would that I had streamed it. I'm sure it would have been great, but yeah, you didn't actually miss anything, Eva, because I didn't stream it. You're talking, so that's a fail from the start. Probably the one here with such a mech boner. I'd love Armored Core before it's summer. I would love to do Armored Core too. Who did I watch play Soma then? It was not me. It was not me. Some other white guy. Some other annoying white guy. Okay, so the obvious thing that I have been thinking about doing lately is like management sims and building games. They all kind of fit into the same place. And I'll just remind you of the ones that I've been talking about lately. The first, of course, is RimWorld. I picked this up. It's a colony management sim. It's in the vein of Dwarf Fortress. I am notably terrible at these games. I've never been good at these games because I feel like I've always tried really difficult ones. And RimWorld seems to be my speed. I haven't had a lot of time to play it lately, not nearly as much as I'd like, but it feels a lot easier to come to grips with than the other ones I've tried. This one, I think, has a lot of potential for viewer interaction because you can mainly because you can name your colonists, but I can also take suggestions of stuff to do because it's also very much a like make your own story kind of game. As long as you control the ambulance, I have not noticed that being a problem, Lodra High. I don't know if it's something they may have patched since you watch streams of it or whatever, but it really, like, I have not noticed, like, the population hasn't needed culling or anything. It's been fine. Everyone's terrible at RimWorld when they start. Down for Mystic Quest. Mystic Quest is a lock, just so you know. Mystic Quest is not something we need to vote on. It's starting next week for sure. Just playing Soma a few months ago. I got about 3/4 of the way through it. Had to take a break because it's giving me really bad anxiety. I normally love those games. It's kind of intense at a few parts. It is one of the most intense games I've ever played. It is rough. Twitch integration with RimWorld. I think there's a mod with Twitch integration. I know Ambiguous Amphibian did one where Twitch chat controlled the events that happened. That would pretty much guarantee failure every time. I don't think I would start with that. Not familiar with RimWorld, but greatly enjoy building management. With how dark I hear this game is, I'm surprised the art style is what it is. I guess a lot of things that happen are pretty dark, yeah. Originally borrowed the Prison Architect art. It does look very familiar, yeah. I only know one day about RimWorld is the one meme character. Mystic Quest gets an unfair amount of hate. I'll admit I don't know much about RimWorld at all, but it sounds pretty cool. It's also the thing we could try it, and if people aren't really feeling it, we can move on from that as well. You know, votes aren't like Ironclad. Votes aren't binding. If we do a vote, if RimWorld's on there, if RimWorld wins, we're not locked into a month of RimWorld. If I play a couple nights of RimWorld and people are like, it's whatever, I'll go to number 2 on the list or something, so. I've seen this guy do several RimWorld games. In this one colony, you got a lot of dogs quickly and they just bred out of control. I definitely haven't, I haven't played a ton of RimWorld, but I haven't had anything like that happen to me, and I haven't seen that happen in other playthroughs, and I've also seen, I have seen players who go out of their way to breed animals and then sell them to traders. So there's no, there's no. You start using it for meat and the sound effects were nightmares. Okay, yeah, we don't need to do that. We absolutely do not need to do that in any capacity. If we end up with an overabundance of animals, we can sell them or do other things with them. That's not a road we have to go down. RimWorld is fortunately a very open-ended game. So, along those lines, I also picked up a game called Kenshi. This one is a free-roaming squad-based RPG. They basically came up with their own like weird grim fantasy world, and you make a character in it and you just try to survive. This one seems particularly brutal. It does not seem, yeah. This one does not seem very kind. The playthroughs I've seen of it are very interesting. I would definitely need some time to come to grips with this before we started playing it. But it is also the potential for viewer interaction is probably the highest in this one of the available options, because I can make party members, I can name party members, and then you just do whatever. You can go on adventures, you can be a bounty hunter, you can fight slavers, you can build bases, you can be merchants, you can be traders, you can be thieves. I don't think there's a main plot in this game. Like, I don't think there's any main plot whatsoever. I think you just try to make your way in this world. So, I think this one would definitely be the hardest to come to grips with, but I got Kenshi in an early access bundle more than 10 or 12 years ago. It was barely playable. I mean, it had its full release 5 years ago. Well, more like 4 years ago, because it was December. And it does seem like a really interesting, very janky game too. So this is certainly a possibility if people are interested in seeing how this would go. The third game in this triumvirate of management sims that I picked up is Project Zomboid. It's a zombie survival game with an incredibly in-depth simulation. It basically simulated an entire city and its outlying rural areas, and you just see how long you can survive. There's all kinds of crafting and looting and survival and stuff. Zomboid would be perfect for multiplayer night, just saying. I mean, I would need to learn how to play it first. I need to do a couple runs of it first. I can't just go into multiplayer blind, but yes, that is true. It does have multiplayer. This one's still in early access, but there's more than enough stuff going on in it to try doing some runs and seeing how it goes. Of these three games I've just mentioned, this one definitely has the least opportunity for viewer interaction. Y'all can help me make a character and you can suggest stuff to do, but it would mostly just be me surviving as well as I can, which I think y'all can imagine about how well that would go. But I make a suggestion, try to watch Benjamin Magnus stream RimWorld. He's very, very good at the game. More valuably, he's streamed and playing for about 5 years and might get some ideas about how making engaging to viewers. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I might do that. Because most of the RimWorld stuff I watch has been on YouTube. It has not been on, it has not been live streamed, so. Zomboid also simulates civilized power and water going out eventually, which is really cool. Yeah, it's the level, it's how incredibly in-depth the simulation is that makes me really interested in this one. Like, you can build your own structures. You can barricade up buildings. You can deconstruct buildings and reconstruct them. You can try to start a farm and live an agrarian life. You can disassemble and fix up all kinds of machines. It's just it really blew me away watching playthroughs of this, just how in-depth it goes. So again, it's another game that I would need to at least get a basic understanding of before streaming, but you know, if we wanted to do this one, I've got a week to do that. So those are the big three in the simulation genre that I've been thinking about. There's also the outstanding lingering question of building games. There's a little less going on in them than something like RimWorld or Kenshi. But again, I keep going back to Roller Coaster Tycoon because I really had fun when I streamed Roller Coaster Tycoon. And I feel like we had a good thing going with that, allowing viewers to rename rides and request building certain rides. Why do I think we had 3 games only? I got a ton of shit here to talk about. I got a bunch of stuff. Some of it you already mentioned, some of it you haven't. Yeah, these are not the only 3 games I'm thinking of. Far from it. I would be down for doing a Roller Coaster Tycoon series. If y'all were interested. Trying to complete a bunch of the scenarios. Basically playing it until we got tired of it. But that's if y'all had a really good time with Roller Coaster Tycoon and actually wanted to see more of it. It's a very big game and there's a lot to it. And I was only playing a very early scenario with y'all, so we only kind of scratched the surface of the kinds of rides and crazy shit you can build in that. There's also the opportunity for like different challenges. There are some easy maps that you can self-impose challenges on that if we did a bunch of Roller Coaster Tycoon and I got better at it, we could start messing around with too. So that's one possibility. The other, before you hit the hay, can you link some of the more basic starting Zomboid videos you watch so I can show Shatora? Just look up Ambiguous Amphibian on YouTube. I've been watching like all of his videos. They were not basic starting videos. They were not tutorial videos. They were challenge videos. So I don't think they're not gonna be helpful for y'all to learn the game. Probably they're gonna be more entertainment than anything. I don't normally watch like tutorial videos for things. I like trying to figure out stuff myself and then looking up the answers to specific questions. I tend to get interested in games by watching silly challenge runs and stuff. You want to share a game flow, not tutorials? Okay, then yeah, definitely check them out. But yeah, Ambiguous Amphibian. The other thing I was thinking about in terms of building games is I was very generously gifted recently. Planet Zoo. So if instead of building old pixelated theme parks, you'd rather build a lush 3D zoo, this is also something that we could do. Again, maybe not as interactive as something like Roller Coaster Tycoon. Definitely not as interactive as something like RimWorld. But you still have the opportunity to request animals, name things. You can probably name things in this. I'm 99% sure you can name things. She likes challenge runs. She's watching a 7 Days to Die video where dudes just doing fist weapons only. Sequel is going to be called Sunzu. My Japanese tutor said the fact I can write everything in hiragana and katakana after about 12 weeks is amazing, so I'm really happy. You should be proud of that, yeah. That is quite an accomplishment. That's like the first big hurdle. So, but yeah, that is dope AF, I agree. Other builder games are certainly a possibility. Roller Coaster Tycoon and Planet Zoo are the two up front. I'll just link you. It's fine. There you go. Actually, I would encourage anybody to check him out because his videos are really entertaining. He has a great voice too. There are other builder games we can do. We could certainly go back to like old SimCities. I am a lifelong SimCity fan. And SimCity has plenty of opportunity for viewer interaction, naming things or building whole districts and stuff. We could play older building games, newer stuff, all kinds of things. But that's just one possibility. Okay, outside of that, there are 3 other specific things that I am interested in doing that if y'all are interested in seeing, I would definitely back. If anyone wants to see some great Planet Zoo videos, look up Let's Game It Out on YouTube. He breaks games in wildly unfathomable ways. Oh, I love stuff like that. I found a guy named Marcel Voss who has completely busted Roller Coaster Tycoon. Like, the dude actually goes into the code to figure out how shit works. And I have been finding his videos just immensely entertaining. So, but okay, there are 3 things that have been in the back of my mind that I would totally be for doing next. And if they overlap with what y'all want to do, like, you have my support. One of them is Dark Souls. Dark Souls 1. I have been talking about doing this for a while. It's been over a year since we last did a Souls-like. I specifically want to revisit Dark Souls 1 because I want to play through the Dark Souls trilogy eventually. And it would be a different kind of Souls stream than watching me struggle with Demon Souls or Bloodborne, because I've actually played and beaten Dark Souls before. So instead of having to be real catty with spoilers, we could actually talk shop the whole way through, and y'all could suggest stuff, remind me of things, and it should go smoother. Well, it has to go smoother than Bloodborne. Everything has to go smoother than Bloodborne, but it should go smoother than the ones that I'm going into completely blind. So that's something I'm interested in doing. Another thing I'm interested in doing is Zelda, and not necessarily randomizer, but it's been a hot minute since we did A Link to the Past proper, and I do want to low high perks of Zelda. I have stated as a long-term loose goal for the channel, I want to play all the Zelda games eventually, and I've only been through 3 at this point, so we got some space to go. We need to do Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening is next. And we're also, at the pace that we are going through Nintendo Power issues, we may not even hit A Link to the Past this year. Not A Link to the Past, Link's Awakening. We may not hit Link's Awakening this year. And I want to play it. So if y'all want to take some time to actually do Link's Awakening, we don't need to wait for the power hours. We don't need to consign it to Thursday, Saturday streams. We can just fucking do it. CDI Zelda remasters. Amazing shitpost of quality. Didn't even know remasters existed. I didn't either. Why? I think the question really is why. But yeah, Link's Awakening is next on the list. If you want to do that, if you want to throw that on the vote, we can absolutely do that. And then the third thing, some people already mentioned this. I'm in full support. Just as a genre, retro FPSs. I am always in the mood for retro FPSs. I think I put Tron 2.0 on the last vote we did. I am on the hook for doing Thief Deadly Shadows because, again, it's been like a year or more since we did Thief 2, and I want to go through the Thief series. Yes, even the 4th one. We could do all kinds of stuff. We could do Heretic, Hexen. Ultra Kill is cheating. Maybe Marathon. Not so interested in Marathon. Outlaws, Deus Ex, we could do. Yeah, and Chex Quest. Fuck it, I don't care. I love retro FPSs. You can always pitch a retro FPS to me and I'll do it. Return to Castle Wolfenstein would fall under that purview, sure. It's been out long enough. Blake Stone. I have Blake Stone. We could do Blake Stone. But yeah, retro FPSs. Never made it very far in that one. I love Deus Ex. I played through Deus Ex so many times. Hugo's House of Horrors FPS. Which is a thing that exists. I did not know about that. That's fucking fascinating. That is actually a pretty big surprise. Okay. So those are the big ones for me. I want at least some of these on the vote. RimWorld. Kenshi, Project Zomboid. I really want to put one of those on the vote. A builder game if y'all are interested. Dark Souls, Link's Awakening, a retro FPS, all of those can easily go on a vote if y'all are into it. I would like to do Strife. Strife is neat. Yeah, I did put Strife on a vote a long time ago. Hell, I'd be down for Half-Life. I used to do yearly replays of Half-Life. Half-Life is still one of my favorite FPSs of all time. Love Deus Ex. My timing on it always seemed to be really unfortunate. I always end up right around when I got a new PC, and then I never end up reinstalling and finishing. Yeah, I know how that is. Kenshi has your interest? Okay, that's good to know. Outside of that, we talked about hidden object games. We're just gonna slip those between big games. Don't need a vote. Randomizers, it sounds like people are more inclined to do randomizers between big games as well. So I think I'll probably hold off putting those on a vote unless y'all are really just like aching for me to get into that Link to the Past randomizer. I wanted to ask, I think I know the answer to this one. CRPGs? More CRPGs? Are we good for now? Do we need a break from CRPGs? Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, Planescape Torment, Arcanum. Has Fallout has the Fallout duology kind of sated your lust for CRPGs for the time being? I think putting randos in between larger games is a nice way to do it. Mixes things up a bit in their one-shots. Yeah, that seems to be the temperature of chat on that one. Decided what voting wide is stupid, go hard. I only go wide when there's a game I really don't want because I'm an unfun bastard. Ask again later. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I just wanted to check and make sure. We could... Again, I think once we're done with Fallout 2, I'm probably going to play the Outer Worlds in my own time. Because I'm actually still in the mood. If I know chat isn't. If chat was like, Fallout 3, I would actually do it. But it's totally fine that you aren't. I am more than happy to put some distance between Fallout 2 and the next CRPG that we do. Stone Classic Diablo Basil Bub mod, where the game is smashed over more like Diablo 2 and rams back and cut content. Amazing mod, hard as balls. Nobody would be Fallout 3. Fallout 3. I know. I'm just saying. Folks mentioned some more weird old stuff. If y'all want to pick out a weird old game to throw out on in the vote as like a dark horse or something, we can do that. We just need to settle on something. I also wanted to mention, just in case, somebody might have mentioned this in their big cluster of thoughts. It has been about a hot minute before we really spent any time playing through a roguelike. We did a roguelike variety night not too long ago, played some really neat games. I got extremely into Neon Abyss after that. Shockingly so. But yeah, if y'all want to throw a roguelike on the vote, I was thinking maybe that would be a thing to do if y'all are interested. Need to do a wheel from the suggested games list, like one every 3 months or something. Oh, that's Fury Fighter, you're a genius. That is such a simple idea. And it totally, I'm gonna make a note of that. That never fucking occurred to me. God, that is such... Oh my god. Not a roguelike. Hell yeah, gamer, I earned my VIP with Neon Abyss. Not a roguelike, but yes, roguelikes too. If you're gonna play a roguelike, please don't break my heart with the choice. I don't know what that means. I can make no promises, R. Dominic. You're such a sensitive soul. It's like walking on broken glass. Rouge likes. I don't think I know a lot of roguelike games. I know that sounds silly, but I'm not super familiar with it. That's fine, Chaos. That's absolutely fine. And that's part of why I'm here. I can help expose you to the wider world. Making me, I am serious. Fury Fighter. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 new concepts for Friday streams. And none of them were just do a wheel night with the Weird Old Games database. And that is absolutely the perfect way to handle that. Because I do feel a little bad that I asked for Weird Old Games suggestions and then kind of ended up gravitating away from it. So it's the perfect way to make use of that. It's genius. It's genius. Tales of Majel. I would not mind actually learning how to come to grips with that game for one. Sonic game. Why I like Be a Gamer commit to beating the original Rogue. Kidding? No, you're not. Even if you are kidding, someone in chat is going to be like, no, seriously, do it, coward. I know how this goes. So. Okay, so chat, we need to compose a vote now. I have told you what I'm interested in doing. Y'all have told me what you're interested in seeing. We need to find some common ground here. Prequel, free, horror-themed roguelike, Infra Arcana. It's me, I am the someone. Heart of Darkness only needs like 30 minutes for you to go. This is so cute. Oh my god, this horrifying that end on this game seriously sucks. What the fuck? Yeah, you'll hate Heart of Darkness. Roguelike Hog. Does that exist? I feel like that must exist. I feel like something like that has to exist. Okay, so here's the deal with votes. The way I do votes, I prefer to have between 3 and 6 options. Any less than 3, I mean, then you have 2. Then it's a binary choice. You're voting between 2 options. That's not exciting. So 3 is the minimum. 6 is the maximum. I know we have done more than 6 in the past, but it gets unmanageable. It's too many possibilities. 1 option vote. 5 is we can do 5. I'm not sure I've ever done a vote with 5. But we can totally do that. No option vote. Just tell you what we're doing. Okay. Loadr High wants Zelda. I think Zelda is 1 option. 2. Let's do 2. We need to decide on a Stone Cold tiebreaker method, dude. The Stone Cold tiebreaker method, dude, is where I decide what we fucking do. Forget voting, assign things to a number, and roll a die. 8. No. Chat. We need to decide what goes on the vote. We don't need to decide how many things we're gonna vote on. Maybe that's my fault for prefacing this such, but I'm not asking you to tell me how many options you want. I'm asking you to tell me what you want on the vote. Games, chat. We're done here. Good night, everybody. Video games. Okay, Link to the Past rando. 2-hit, it sounds like chat doesn't want to vote on randos. It sounds like randos are gonna go in between bigger games. I don't think we're gonna do randomizers at a stretch. So, and we'll see how that goes. So I'm not planning on putting any randos on the vote. I gladly watch both types of games, Zelda and Mario. Randos between games make sense. I vote for a pizza. I would actually vote for a pizza right now. Also a roguelike and a Toho. Kenshi, Dark Souls, Zelda. R-Type 3, that's a shmup. We could do a shmup, actually. Dark Souls. So I want to get back to Kingsfield 2 eventually. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, if people really want to see Kingsfield, I'll put it on there. RimWorld goes on there over Kenshi as it actually has a win condition. I don't need a win condition, though. Hey, I'm sorry if I didn't make it to the vote crafting. I zoned out a bit while multitasking and then just absolutely hit a brick wall. I'm going to bed. Still mad Red Dead. Suggest night chat. Good night, Tradon. Thanks for coming out. It's funny. You actually showed up right as we're doing the voting, the voting construction. But that's okay. If you're tired, we'll work it out. One's that most interesting me are Zelda, Dark Souls, and RimWorld. Okay. I think right now it is sounding like RimWorld over Kenshi. If there are more Kenshi persons out there, if there are more people pulling for Kenshi, let me know. Otherwise, I think RimWorld is going to be that option. It sounds like RimWorld is going on, Zelda is going on, Dark Souls is going on, because I've heard multiple people agitate for both. So that's 3 options right there. RimWorld, Dark Souls, Zelda. Feeling about to topple over, I'm out at night. Good night, Tradon. Thanks again for coming out. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, for an FPS, been a while since you played one out on here, I think. What FPS should it be? I am all for putting an FPS on the vote. In fact, hang on. I'm gonna switch over to the horror, and I'm gonna start working on the vote. I'm gonna start constructing this. All right. Dark Souls is gonna be a meme, being in every vote and just not being able to take it. Dark Souls, I'm pretty sure Dark Souls has come in like second every single time I put it on a vote. All right, it's still on here. In fact, it's still on the last vote that we had. All right, so we're doing we got Dark Souls, Zelda, Link's Awakening. All right, RimWorld. So that's 3. We got space for up to 3 more. Thoughts on FPS games? Blood. Will the candidates for voting come out of the mouth? That'd be funny. We need more Caleb. Dark Souls, definitively the second best game of all time. You're just trying to scare chat into submission by putting on the Sonic image. Okay, let's decide on an FPS. I wanna. What was the shmup that came up? Toho. Who was that? 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 Satellite Sun mentioned Toho. Sacrificial Toast mentioned R-Type 3. I'm gonna veto R-Type 3 because that's gonna come up in the magazine sooner or later, and also it's a fucking ball buster of a game. It is not a long series playthrough. It is a beat your head against it until you can't take it anymore. Confession: I've not seen or played anything in the Dark Souls series. Well, now's your chance. Here's one from left field, the OG Medal of Honor. I'm not interested in that. I am generally not interested in military shooters. Maybe at some point, but not right now. That's not the kind of FPS I'm looking for. I would be down. If you want to know my suggestions, I would say Deus Ex if you want a big one to get into. Thief Deadly Shadows, obviously we need to play at some point. Strife, Heretic. Dark Souls is in, don't worry. We got Dark Souls Manic. You are covered. It's gonna be the first option, in fact. So I'm gonna push for Doom 3 eventually. Eventually, but not right now. Thief is a shooter, it's first person. I count it. Hexen, Heretic, Hexen. We gotta settle on something. Thief 3, Deus Ex, Heretic, Hexen. Not Hexen, Heretic first. I'm fine with Heretic first. But not right now, the illusion of choice chat. I told you I was gonna be honest with your suggestions tonight. If I'm not feeling something, I'm straight up gonna be like, nah, not right now. Dark Souls game. Dominic says Thief 3. I don't know what we're voting for. My brain is sleepy. I guess I'll try to get Legend of the Ghost Lion for Doomstream. I think that would be the way to go with that one, yeah. See if you can Doomstream Legend of the Ghost Lion. I support that. I'm Michael Oddish and I approve this message. Thief Deadly Shadows might vote for first person. Okay. Stream the Bioshock. Okay, well, I think that's Thief 3 then. So that's going on there. That's settled. All right, so that's 1 FPS at least. We have 2 more slots. We have 2 more slots for anything, though. So what do you... I'm open on this one. I got what I wanted. In fact, I got more than I wanted. Y'all need to coalesce around up to 2 more options. One more option if you want 5. 2 more options if you want 6 total. Hi-Fi Rush, I will not commit to a full playthrough of. Maybe we'll do Hi-Fi Rush on a Friday stream, but it's too new, unfortunately. Mother 3 just to watch it lose again. Probably no RPGs. I think we can skip RPGs because we're about to start Final Fantasy Mystic Quest and people are burnt out on CRPGs in general. Someone mentioned strategy games earlier. Any ideas there? I would say Age of Mythology. I know somebody else mentioned Age of Empires or Command & Conquer. Oh, roguelike. We need a roguelike. Throw a roguelike out. I don't make it regularly enough to try and guide the vote in any direction. You're welcome to try, Heldy. I mean, there's no require. If a long-time lurker, if a year-long lurker emerged from the darkness to guide chat to the Holy Land of Putt Putt Saves the Zoo or something, God bless them. They're welcome to do it. Not a roguelike. I gifted you a roguelike and forget the name. Oh God, what was that? Oh shit. Wait, I have it installed. I forgot what it is. End Hall. I think for this, I think for getting back to roguelikes in general, we're gonna need something well known. I think we're gonna need a known quantity. Monolith, Infra Arcana, Chrono Arc, Vault of the Void. Let's get bored with Adom. Goddamn, we almost need a second vote to decide the Rogue Legacy 2. Cogmine? Cogmine's been a hot minute. We need something with some general support here. If only one or two people are saying it, it's probably not going to draw any votes. My inclinations, if you care what I think. What are some roguelikes that I've thought about lately? Still suggest, Tales of Maj'El. Tales of Maj'El is definitely a possibility. Cogmind is definitely up there. We could go back to Crown Trick. Remember we played Crown Trick on that variety night a few weeks back? That was a pretty neat one. I wouldn't mind trying to get all the way through that. Death Road to Canada. We could do some Death Road to Canada runs as full playthrough kind of thingy doos. Door in the Woods is one I've always wanted to go back to. Dreamscaper is an interesting looking one. Dungeon Man's, Dungeons of Dreadmore, Duskers, Gungeon. What else we got here? Golden Crone. Hades, technically. If you wanted to throw in for Hades at this point in our lives. Heat Signature. Jupiter Hell. I never beat Jupiter Hell. Monolith, of course. Somebody mentioned Monolith. Nuclear Throne, maybe. I'm terrible at Nuclear Throne, ironically. I love Gungeon, but I'm terrible at Nuclear Throne. Renowned Explorers, Curious Expedition. A Robot Named Fight. We almost ended up playing that one. The Spelunky games. Atomic Crops is a roguelike. That's yes, it is. Stone Shard. The Keissware games, if you're familiar with those, like Stramium Immortally and the Spirit's Abyss. Jupiter Hell. I saw some Jupiter Hell. Hang on. I totally wasn't paying attention to chat while I was running through these. Crown Trick is visually appealing. Tome is definitely one that's harder to watch. Not a roguelike. You did a different genre up there. How about Clock Tower 2? We played Clock Tower 2. No, not Clock Tower 2. I was thinking Echo Knight 2. If you can get other people to support it, I'll go in for it. But I'm not gonna do that off of a single suggestion. Shiren the Wanderer, Into the Breach. Into the Breach is a little intimidating. I love Into the Breach, but it is a really stressful game for me. Dungeon Man's, Hades, Shiren, Dreadmore, Hades, Jupiter Hell, Atomic Crops, Jupiter Hell, FTL. We could do FTL. All I can think about Clock Tower 2 is a fucking Ghostface's voice actor in it. I did play FTL before. We could play it again, I guess. Okay, possibilities. Serious possibility. Not recently is the thing. That's why I'm kind of okay going back to it. Let's say, between Hades, Jupiter Hell, Shiren the Wanderer, and FTL. Which of those would y'all go in for? Because those seem like the ones with the most groundswell behind them. Toe says Shiren. Eva says Jupiter. Shiren, Jupiter, Shiren. Let's put Shiren on there. I have never played Shiren. That could be really interesting. So I'll throw Shiren the Wanderer in as option number 5. Okay, do you want one more option? Do you want a 6th one? This one, I don't know, maybe a Dark Horse weird old game? Is there a weird old game y'all want? This is the original one or the one on Steam? I don't know. I don't fucking know. y'all said Shyren. I put Shyren. We can suss out what that actually means if it wins. Estatica. I do want to see Estatica. Do you want to throw Estatica in as a wild card? Because I'm fine with Estatica. I have a genuine interest in seeing that, honestly. Builder like RCT would be fun, maybe. Maybe not for this vote, but maybe we'll come back around to that, Helvete. I'm gonna level with you. I may do another Roller Coaster Tycoon stream just because I want to. All right, I'm gonna throw Ecstatica on there as a wildcard vote. Potato Flowers. Keep Potato Flowers in mind for the next one. Keep that one in your back pocket. There will be more chances. I think we did it. Okay, chat. So we have. Where's my music? There it is. Okay. Okay, so what we have landed on is Dark Souls, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, RimWorld, Thief Deadly Shadows, Shyren the Wanderer, and Estatica. Y'all good to roll on this? Do we approve? Do we all have options that we're happy voting for? Do we have an interesting spread of games? Ready? Let's rock. Sure. Okay. Approved. Approved. All right. I got the official stamp. Let's go. All right. The floodgates have opened, chat. Vote. Vote to your heart's content. Well, one vote per game, please. As we always do. Vote for as many options you want. One vote per option. Easy peasy lemon squeeze. Knuckles approved meme here. I can make a better list by including only things I want. Never heard of Estatica. That looks weird as fuck. Definitely research these games. I always encourage people to do that. Okay, bye, chat. I always encourage people to do this. When we put weird shit on the vote that you've never heard of, please research these games. Please look into these games if you've never seen them before. Not one person, one vote. One vote per game. Can we vote once each stream or stick to once for the entire voting duration? Otherwise regular voters would have an advantage over people that can't show up as often. It's just to be fair. So you are welcome to vote for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 games. You could vote for 6, but that'd be dumb. But just one vote per game over the entire period, please. Oh yeah, no problem. No problem, Chaos. I welcome questions about our bizarre system of democracy. I'm doing my part. One vote per game if your choice has already been voted for. No more. Yes. At the end of the vote, it's always a 6-way tie. Did you specify which version of Link's Awakening? Sorry, I wasn't fully paying attention during the suggestion barrage. The chat has suggested I do the Game Boy Color version. We will probably go with that. I would need to emulate it on my PC because I don't have my GBC flash cart handy. That's still a whole thing I'm dealing with. We could do the original Link's Awakening on Game Boy. I could play that off the Analog Pocket. I have the cartridge, but we can discuss if that one wins. So, but yeah, it'll be it won't be the remake version. For reasons I spoke about earlier, I am suspicious of remakes of retro games not doing as well, so. No, voting for 6 games isn't dumb. It's nice to see larger numbers for everything and less dragon coins and coffers. All right, I suppose you do have a point. I suppose you do have a point. Seeing a big vote is encouraging. Seeing big numbers for everything, like, look, if Link's Awakening wins with like 15 votes and Dark Souls 2 comes in second with like 14, you know, that means something. That means something. If Thief Deadly Shadows gets 1 vote, that means something. That means it probably doesn't need to be on a future vote or something. So the amount of votes that all of these games get do mean something. So you're absolutely right, 2Hit. I should not discourage you thusly. If you love all 6 of these options and you don't care which one we play, vote for all 6. Fuck it. Oh my god, I forgot I had you set to the background of that and jumped. That's perfect. Voted for 2, that's how it's staying. Fulfilling a promise myself and Loader High. DX version best. Yeah, I would be interested in doing the GBC version because I grew up with the original Game Boy version, and I know that the DX version adds a new dungeon based on colors that are only available in the color version. I'm curious about seeing that. Switch version of more quality of life improvements I think is just too expensive. Yeah, I'm going to skip the full remake. I'm gonna play a proper retro looking thing. Link's Awakens and Thief for you. Zelda was because we were unified front. Link's Awakens is your favorite Zelda? It's mine too. Remakes tend to be inherently different in a lot of ways. Still just listed under retro if you do the remake. Twitch doesn't seem to... No, Twitch isn't strict about it. It's just, I try to obey the letter of the law, if not the spirit. Huh, look at those votes. I haven't even looked at them. Let me see. How's this going? Huh. Okay. I love votes. I love votes, chat. Votes are always fucking fascinating to me. I love seeing the way chat goes. It's never the way I predict. Every time I put up a vote, I'm like, okay, this game's probably got it, and it's never that one. It never is that one. I wonder how much this stream, this being the stream thumbnail would do for discoverability. I took a peek at the viewer count, and honestly, for this late at night, we're doing really well. It may have helped. I don't know. If you ever do anything DS related, I vote for My World, My Way, which is just so stupid. Totally forgotten about that. I'd love to figure out how to do DS streaming someday, but we're still a ways away from that. Played the DX version on an old Game Boy and tried to cheat my way through the color dungeon in black and white. I refuse to look. Seeing Dark Souls lose is tiring. I may just have to take matters in my own hands and just play Dark Souls sometime. Because, I mean, it does mean something that it always comes in second, you know? It doesn't mean that people don't want it. It means that it just keeps getting edged out over and over and over again. So, and those games deserve love too. I mean, Christ, one of the more recent votes we did, I ended up playing like the game that came in dead last, if I remember correctly. Sonic doing the YouTube face is the new Twitch meta. I'm not looking directly at the screen. I've got my hand between my face and Sonic's. Let you know what I mean. One of your resources in that game is pouting points, which you use to break the rules to suit you. It's not about the game so much as the experience and interpretive nature of it. It's different from person to person aside from speedrunners who wrote about it. We're gonna do it eventually. There are things on this channel that are going to get done. We are going to play all the Zelda games someday. We are gonna play all the Dark Souls games someday. We're gonna play all the Saga games someday. Even the ones y'all are like, you really shouldn't play this one, you moron. I'm still gonna do it. We're gonna play all the Thief games someday. DS means Order of Ecclesia and I'm fucking down. Oh yeah, I need to do Castlevania games someday too. But it's not this day. It's so overwhelmingly large on this huge TV. Sonic's mouth is bigger than my head. That's scary. I think DS was perfect for dungeon crawlers, being able to use the bottom screen to draw on all my... DS is seriously one of my favorite systems of all time. It's not my favorite. My favorite has to be the Super Nintendo. I love the Super Nintendo too much. But the DS is way the fuck up there. It is definitely one of my favorite systems because it's so unique and it makes the most of its uniqueness. I feel like there were so many games on the DS that really used its two screens really well. Unlimited Saga owns Bones. I know better than that, Dom. You can't. It's too late. I know already. You should absolutely play Unlimited. It sucks so good. We're gonna play it someday, years from now. We're gonna get to it, and I'm gonna hate it, and y'all are gonna laugh so hard. For some reason, that Sonic picture reminds me of the Tick. Once you figure out DS emulation, I'm gonna hound you in chat for Darkspire Hell Knight until it happens or I'm banned. I replay Sonic Adventure now for some reason. I'm serious, that's not a troll. I can't stop. You know, when it comes to Saga games, I can't trust you. You're too invested. You're too close. You're too close to the source. Shadows gets to do it, I get to do it. I'm not even gonna say they're wrong. Unlimited has actual legit everything has actual legit fans. Everything. That doesn't mean anything. To be fair, Adam is right. Darkspire is too mean, and I love wizardry. Damn. Damn. All right, chat, if you can believe it. Uh-oh, wait a minute. On paper, you like Darkspire. It's first-person dungeon RPG like the old PC ones. The hand-drawn art and dark theme, but they also made it absurdly hard and punishing, and even has an Atari Amiga art mode. Wow. Play Sir Whoop-Ass? No. What the fuck is Sir Whoop-Ass? Like, what the shit is this? What is your fucking problem? Me, Sir Whoop-Ass, a hero from the small indie studio Atomic Elbow, who, due to a series of hilarious and poor life choices, managed to bring chaos and disarray to a utopian world. He must find a legendary villain-beating artifact event. This looks insufferable. This looks really bad. This looks like, what was his name? Battle Thong? Death Thong? Hero Pants? What the fuck was the name of that really not as funny as it thought it was ARPG on Xbox Live Arcade? Death Spank! Death Spank. That was it. Death Spank. Yeah, that game sucked. It looks like they want to be Overlord, but not really. I just hate how Darkspire designed their maps to fill every single square with pointless empty secret rooms. Back to Sir Half-Ass again. Yeah, it's one of those humorous games. One of those games that thinks it's funny when it isn't. Looks like someone snorted edgy comedy games in Elden Ring. So yeah, that's... Oh, look, it's a little Red Riding Hood pastiche. I love it. I can't believe there were two Death... I only thought there was one Death Spank sequel. Holy shit. The dabbing Venus statue really says it all. It says a lot, doesn't it? It says a lot. Okay, well. You know, chat, it's been 3 hours, but we don't have to stop now because I actually had one more thing I want to talk to you about. If you can believe it. We made it 3 hours and I didn't actually get through all the topics I had on hand. Strange Journey was one I really liked. This would be the most forgettable game in an Iron Pineapple Souls-like video. Speaking of humorous fantasy games, play Eric the Unready, an old Infocom style texting. I think I've actually heard of that. I think. I wanted to ask you something. It's a pretty... I don't know, we might talk about this for a while. It seems like a pretty straightforward question, but I need to put this out here just because we're so dense right now. There's so much stuff that we're doing, you know? The Power Hours nights are getting co-opted to do more big playthroughs. The answer is no. Oh, okay. And we're gonna cram some more stuff into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays with the additions of hogs and randomizers. I wanted to talk about Friday. I wanted to talk real quick, real quick about Fridays. Cause we do a lot of shit on Fridays. And it's actually getting kind of hard to cram it all in as well. Don't split hairs, we're dense all the time. Like, okay, check this out. Check this out. Just for a little context. Most months, every month has 4 to 5 Fridays in it, right? So February, for example, the first Friday is this Friday that we are here present in right now. We're doing a Just Chatting stream. We're doing GP Talks, right? Probably the last Friday of the month is going to be community night, because community nights are always Friday nights. That leaves 2 Friday nights to do other stuff among the many things we do. Oh, my earbuds just died. Wow, 4 to 5. I was not aware. Bard's Tale, huh? Interesting. I think I'm okay. So, to recap the things that we've been doing. I had made both the wheel and the Indie Bowl monthly thing. I had gotten to a place where I was doing the wheel at near the end of the month, and the Indie Bowl at the beginning. But we actually haven't done a wheel since, I think, December, right? We missed the wheel last month. We did an Indie Bowl, but we didn't do a wheel. There's of course Indie Variety Night, which we don't do as often anymore. And there's all manner of those. There's themed Indie Variety Nights. There's the rare unthemed Indie Variety Nights where I just grab crap. There's demo nights when Steam does Next Fest demos. Of course, sometimes we do the wheel with those as well. Sometimes I think we're gonna do this less. But we sometimes do one-off playthroughs. I did Infected the Twin Vaccine on a Friday night. We do these Just Chatting streams. We sometimes do compilation games like Haunted PS1 or the Madvent Calendar. There is a Next Fest this month, yeah, so that might actually take up a Friday. And we haven't done one of these in a very long time, but we do on occasion look at game jams. And that is something that I enjoyed doing. It was never exactly popular. It was probably one of the least popular things I did on Fridays, but I wanted to mention it at least. All of that does not fit into a month. That does not fit into a month. So I'm not trying to decide what to cut or anything. I'm not trying to get rid of any of these, especially since I have some new concepts that I want to try too. Yeah, Haunted PS1, Madvent, they all kind of fit with the whole game jam theme. So like game compilation sort of thing. Is it fine if I also plug that we're still throwing around community night ideas for February? Oh yeah, absolutely. If y'all want to help decide what we're doing for the February community night, please get into Discord, get into the community night channel, and help folks figure out what's what. Suggested event time travel manipulation. If only. All the community nights ideas have been stupid good so far. I have to give y'all some serious credit. Community nights are generally 10 out of 10. They are almost always games that I would not have picked otherwise, and I really end up enjoying. It's like Doom streams if all the Doom stream games were good, like Cadence of Hyrule. So that is why community streams became a permanent fixture without the need for Dragon Coins, except the one for... Which one did you do? Which one was yours? There was one community night that I couldn't do just because of motion sickness. I couldn't do Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. Because I was really enjoying that game, but it made me nauseous. Much like Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. Doom streams of every night was Dragon View. So. Horror games that had personal presence to the players. What did we play for that? What was that one? I tried to make it so we learned about our community. Oh, dude, Stalker was amazing. Stalker, when I've talked about continuing one of our community night games, Stalker is always the #1 choice. Mine was Sage, and I enjoyed it. I'm not sure how much everyone else was into the idea. I thought the Sage night was pretty cool. I was quite happy with that. I was unsure of that one. I was not sold on the idea when you pitched it, but I was like, it's the community. Y'all believe in this, let's do it. And I actually ended up really enjoying it. I thought that was neat. Because I'm always down for exploring weird indie games. Yeah, Sage was a great idea. Yeah. Stalker would be something I'd love to see more of. That game holds a special place for me. Yeah, we should do... Stalker should at least show up on a vote at some point. Maybe after this game, this next game that we do, I don't know. Anyway, the reason I bring this up, chat, I want to know what Friday stuff y'all prefer. I want to know what Friday stuff I should maybe be prioritizing. Like if I should be guaranteeing a wheel or just chatting stream or a variety night every month, because I don't have a whole lot of wiggle room on Fridays. Fury wheel. The wheel is always fun. I thought you like the indie stuff. Doing one focus around fan games and weird indies would fit perfectly, and I thought it did. Yeah, I thought it was great. I think it's one of those too much of a good idea thing. I think monthly. I think monthly is fine. I think one wheel a month is solid. Themed variety night wheel are definite likes for you. Okay. Okay. I think I can guarantee. I think I can guarantee one wheel and one themed variety night a month. I prefer a wheel over an indie bowl. Okay. Fair enough, fair enough. Variety nights your favorites, wheels it depends on what we get, but I usually enjoy them. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I'll make sure we do those 2 every month. And then so that's 3 nights spoken for. That's 1 wheel, 1 indie variety night, and community night. So on every month, that leaves either 1 or 2 other Fridays to do something. So I think that's fair. I think that's pretty fair. I thought the wheel fit the list you gave us best so that people can validate it by their games being seen. Yeah. And maybe we find something everyone wants to finish. That's also true, yeah. So, yeah, wheels don't always have to be, you know, picking junk out of Steam or itch.io. To compete with. I can also integrate this idea of doing wheels with the weird old games we grabbed. So yeah. Okay, that was actually a simpler conversation than I was expecting. I just want some idea of where y'all lean on those. Holy shit, Library Man! Thank you so much for subscribing. 30 months, dude. 2.5 years. Thanks to you and chat for helping me get through the worst of the pandemic. Love y'all. Love you too, Library Man. I'm glad you made it out. You call it the weird old wheel. I like that. God, I'm prickly. Okay, cool. And I do have some new ideas that I'm thinking about that I may preview in the weeks to come. Hard to be around, or I feel like absolutely not, Fury. You are a welcome and valued member of this community. I love seeing you in chat. I love seeing all of y'all in chat. Even the mean ones. I require nonstop validation. Why aren't you validating me right now? Man, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're here to demand validation. I was missing that. I was missing giving my validation to someone. They step in the middle of a series. No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I was talking about. I had a simple question about what people most enjoyed seeing on Friday nights, and then I think we were on the verge of having another little love in here right here. You have to buy something for us to validate your party manner. There are mean ones. Maybe. Can I get at least one validation? Might help me digest some food I ate better. I think this would be too weird or not lean into playing for a while. I'd like to be kind of amused by an Atari games night. I don't think you're even the first person to mention that. I think we played Adventure that one night during a Just Chatting stream, right? And I think it came up then. People were saying I should really do like an old computer, like ancient console variety night. Arcane, your name I'm sure is pretty shade of red. I do appreciate that Arcane is red. There are a lot of greens and cool colors in chat, so it's really easy to pick out somebody who's like bright red. So Arcane, got my eye on you. Every time Atari comes up, I mention Solaris, so Solaris. Just never bothered changing my color. I had to change mine. Mine had to be on brand. Weird, I feel bad for getting the birthday stream thing. It did mean a lot. I was in a big pile of IRL shit and so no, you should know. I did that because I wanted to. That was there was no pressure to do that, and I made it clear that's not something that I was gonna do like all the time. That was just a perfect confluence of circumstances. It was your birthday, you wanted to play something, and I was in just the right mood for that. So yeah, you got nothing to apologize for. I wonder if there's something similar to me, rejection sensitivity dysphoria, not really about rejection itself, but about the perception of being rejected regardless of what the reality is. Could be, yeah. I got excited for a second because I thought someone said Stellaris. I want to try streaming Stellaris at some point. I'm not convinced that would go over well. I think that game might be too slow for the kind of streamer that I am. I know there's streamers out there that make it work. There's streamers that make every game work. I'm not sure I could do Stellaris and make it entertaining. But if I could, that might help me circle back around to like Alpha Centauri and other games like that. Have you considered Ixion? I have considered Ixion. I almost picked it up during the recent sale, but I figured I had bought enough stuff. So it looks really good. I am definitely interested in Ixion, but I'm probably gonna let that one age a bit before grabbing that one. Kerbal Space. I've been sitting on Kerbal Space for ages. Kerbal Space is another one that would probably go over pretty well because that would just be an endless string of me failing. Just in the most bizarre and embarrassing ways. Maybe we should think about doing that one sometime soon. Did the Kerbal people do some stupid shit? I forgot. So much fucking drama. Didn't they sell it? I thought they sold the rights to Kerbal to somebody or something. That's the only thing I remember hearing. ADHD person here is totally a thing. I've gotten better at keeping a lid on it with chats like this. This is something that someone has. You might have my sympathy. RSD sucks balls, and I don't wish it on anyone. I just hope, I know issues like this are difficult to deal with, but just as much as I can, I want y'all to make sure you know that you are absolutely welcome here. You're not annoying me. You are not pressuring me. You are not any kind of imposition on me. I am genuinely glad every single one of you is here. And I want to make sure all of you know that, okay? I harbor no ill will towards any of you. And you are always welcome here, no matter what. Yeah, if Eva's not annoying me, and Eva is not annoying me, the rest of you, 100% fine. Fury Fighter, at this point, I'm not even sure you could do anything to push yourself away from me. I really enjoy having you around. Eva has a crush on you as well. So don't worry about it. I feel like we have healthy boundaries, and I think that's an important thing. You know, y'all are welcome to nerd out about stuff. You're welcome to get excited about things. You're welcome to push ideas and stuff. And if we reach a point where I think it's time to move on, I feel comfortable saying, okay, let's move on from this. Let's do something else. I think we're good on that. And I feel like we can do that without hurting any feelings or bruising any egos, So, and if that's the case, then I think we can all be totally comfortable here, None of you need to worry about anything like that. I know it's a hard thing to fully internalize. Like I get some of that anxiety myself, but as much as I can reassure you, as much as it is in my capacity to reassure you, you have nothing to worry about in this channel. I know it's probably weird to say I'm surprised you haven't introduced your wife or older daughter to chat at least once. Nothing to do with all of y'all. Absolutely not. But my wife is not an internet person. My wife is not big on internet communities, and she is pretty uncomfortable with just how widely things can be spread on the internet. And we both agreed that it probably wouldn't be a good idea to put our kids on camera, just because you never know. I know everyone here in chat is cool. I trust y'all. We're cool with all y'all. I don't know who's lurking, is the thing. You know? You don't. And I'm very open with my own information. Y'all know my full name. Y'all know my general geographic location. So better not to push that risk any further, you know? The more I hang out in here, the more I genuinely like and enjoy the vibes. I'm really glad to hear that. Chat is cool with that Gold Play Games guys. That fucking guy. I also worry that sometimes I'm just too much of a stubborn person. Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're all fine. You are absolutely fine. Even the game being played is something I don't care for. Y'all are super fun to chat with. I think that makes the biggest difference to me. I think that makes the biggest difference. I'm not always going to play something that everybody's into, but I feel like the community that we have is something that you can always be into, you know? And that's not really me. That's the gathering of people that we have, you know? And I feel very, very fortunate for that. Yeah, you definitely need boundaries as a streamer, and as long as you can assert them, you know, in a friendly way, you know, with a helping of patience and understanding, then everything should flow fine. Y'all tolerate me. I feel like you can withstand basically anything. Clearly walked into something out of my depth. These conversations, they just spring up. They're certainly not planned, and they, you know, I don't ever expect them. I don't ever expect them to happen. But when the feels happen, when the feels are released, you gotta go with the flow. I haven't been kicked out for bad jokes, so hey, not bad plays. Props to your family. I feel like we're family here, but I get it. Yeah, there are some fucking creeps out here. You get pets. Oh yeah, if we ever get a pet, they'll be on here all the time. I might do one of those pet cams that other streamers do. I had no idea until recently why the hell everyone's calling you Oddish. Yep, that's me, Michael Oddish. I used to not like my family name. I used to think it sounded really dumb, but as I got older and I realized how unique it was, I really started to embrace it, and then I just started going by it. And at work, everybody calls me Oddish. On fucking official emails, like I am listed just as Oddish. It's great. I love it. So yeah. How could I not go by that? And the Pokemon, and of course the Pokemon. Oddish is my legal name. That's right. That's me. It is thankfully very easy to pronounce, even though people fuck it up all the time. I get Oudish a lot. A lot of people think it's Oudish. And then when I was a kid, I used to get people who thought it was a typo, and they would call me Andish. They thought the U was supposed to be an N. Or they were fucking illiterate. I don't know, but probably because of Audi. Yeah, probably. That'd be a struggle for me if I start streaming again. I'm the internet puppy and I want to be friends with literally everyone. Community is so damn supportive. My move for my hell is the biggest example I have going from what I felt was a supportive community being embraced by one that's truly changed my worldview a bit. I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad that it really. I never thought about it when I started streaming, because I just wanted to stream as like a fun thing, right? It never occurred to me that it would be something that could actually help people, even in some small way. But man, the fact that it is just is incredible to me, and I'm really, really thankful for that. Still mad I couldn't send you that Oddish Lego set. Oh, don't worry about it. I got this little guy right here. Going by your last name has an air of authority. It does, actually. It does. I feel like Oddish has a good amount of impact when used as a name. Just if I have kids and want my personal data about them, especially before they're old enough to know the internet and make their own decisions out there somewhere. Yeah, it's a tricky thing. I've been through a lot with my kids in the internet. Some stories I might tell y'all someday, but yeah. It's definitely a work in progress too. It's alright, my former surname is Indian, and I got many letters and emails addressed to Mr. When I found out it was your name, I thought it was a play on words of Oddish, and you might like Pokemon. I mean, it's funny, isn't it? I basically share a name with like a classic Pokemon, and yet I've basically never played Pokemon. It's just, I just missed it. It's not even that I dislike it. It's not even that I'm not interested in it. I just missed it. I don't care if we're going by my last name. It always turns into nicknames. I hate being called, so I ask people not to refer to me strictly by my last name. I mean, that's fair too. Always depends on what you ended up with. You not believe how many ways people could spell or say Dominic. I guess that is one nice thing about Oddish, is like it also sounds like a handle, so people don't necessarily get that it's my actual name at first, which is a sort of unintentional anonymity there. My elementary school bullies called me by my last name only, so I see cool nerds use their last name as pride. I feel somehow more secure. Is that no, that's not oversharing. Thank you for sharing. I'm glad to hear that. Even living in the fucking Bible Belt, y'all should know better. When I say my first name is Zach, I just get Final Fantasy and Power Rangers jokes. That's not bad at all. I thought you just like, I mean, I do like Oddish's design. He's so cute. He's just an adorable little thing. But it helps that we share a name too. Need to put Pokemon in the next vote. We got to do Pokemon at some point. Pokemon's too far away in the magazine to wait for. So if you all want to do Pokemon, I'm going to have to give you the chance to vote on it, I think. I never make name jokes because I'm so sick of hearing Roger Wilco or Roger. Last name isn't spelled quite like any English words. Greek spelling, so no one gets it right the first time ever. First name is Richard, so you can guess what I got. Grew up on the internet, and with my experiences on the internet, oh my god, I'm regulating my kids' internet access till they're mature enough for it. Yep, I have had to handle some things that I did not anticipate having to handle, especially this early on with how old my kids are, but yeah. It's inevitable in the networked age. I like when people call me by my last name and pronounce it correctly. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Rise of the Third Power is on Steam recommendation. A close friend of mine really liked that. Oh, okay. Had something similar. I'd be called by my last name and kind of got to hate it, especially because they intentionally mispronounce it. Yeah, Pokemon is way off. I don't know if it's that far off. I'm actually not sure. I feel like I have it in the issues that I have, but I don't remember because I really just kind of ignored it when it came out. I had this perception that I was like too old for Pokemon or something. It's the same reason I never got into Power Rangers. I felt like I was just a little too old or, you know, mature, like dumb middle schoolers think when Power Rangers came out. So I just kind of didn't connect with it. Oh, fuck. 1998 was 25 years ago, wasn't it? Going by R. Dominic on Twitch has totally cured me of being disliked by being called by my last name. Yeah, I guess it would have to. Did they find the porn? I have stories to tell you someday. Funny side effect, me unknowingly naming Cloud after myself when I played Final Fantasy VII sure made that plot an experience. My name has an immigration interpretation of a German vowel. Our understanding is that Oddish is an interpretation of a Middle Eastern name that my father's father's father gave to Ellis Island when he brought the family over from Syria or Lebanon or somewhere in there. I feel like the OG Pokemon needs to be played, but the merciful side of me feels like, oh, I should do the GBA or Let's Go games. No, I want to start at the beginning. I like starting at the beginning for things. Even if it's inadvisable, I want to at least try. I'm willing to give it... Look, I told y'all I'm willing... Like, I would be willing to go through, like, the original Mother. Like, Earthbound Zero, honestly. It's rough. It's a lot of grinding, but it's something I can do if people actually wanted to watch it. And Pokemon, I imagine the audience for Pokemon is there, no matter how rough it is. Feel bad for my great-grandparents because they have a very Polish name that most people here in the US cannot say. Pokemon Fire Red would be a good place to start. Red, Blue, Yellow is a very important series. I'm glad they existed. Holy shit, they were hilariously broken. Used to have a lisp when I was a kid, so people thought my name was Jack. Go Pikachu and Eevee are actually my favorite Pokemon games. Sacrilege to hardcore fan. Well, who cares about hardcore fan peoples? Nobody cares. Funny as Mother 1 is the one I'd be least interested in. The series got so much better developed and realized with the later two. I just like starting at the beginning of things. I like starting at the beginning of things because they help to contextualize what came after. You can see the evolution in the series if you know where it started. And also, it can be really hard to go backwards if you end up wanting to. I can't really imagine playing like Fallout 1 if you were introduced to the Fallout series with 2, you know? I don't think I would ever go back to Assassin's Creed 1 if I hadn't played that first. So I know how frequent it is for people to wave people off of earlier entries in a series because they really want people to get into it, but I want to try it. Like I want to see where things began. Like I want to recreate the experience of like, you know, like growing with a series, you know? I get that. Oh my god, I'm absolutely the same way. It took me years to touch mainline Mega 10 because I was like, oh my god, where do I start? It's funny I'd say never go back to Red and Blue, but I'd rather play Crystal than Gen 2 remakes because Gen 4's engine is too slow for you. So yeah. Lufia is an interesting one. I know y'all were talking about that, what, last night? How Lufia 1 is like really bad and 2 is a huge experience. Lufia 1 is objectively inferior. But it's also, wait, what? Wait, fucking what? I keep hearing that as Luffy. Wait, so is Lufia 2 a prequel then? Is that how you're, or did they actually fuck around with like, okay, thank you. Okay. Kinda agree, it's a shame so many things are unexperienceable today due to the online component. Lucia and the Horde are games I was super interested in, but I had no way of playing or seeing them. It was the way Eva posed it. I had to be sure. The ending of Lufia 2 is the first scene of Lufia 1. Oh, okay. The caffeine is wearing off. Any more topics of import tonight? No. In fact, I'm probably going to wrap up pretty soon because I'm either going to go to bed or maybe play like a little RimWorld or Kenshi or something before I go to bed because I really fucking want to play those games. I've made one colony in RimWorld last weekend, and I haven't gotten to play Kenshi or Project Zomboid at all since I got them. Time to start the games. Oh, I wish I had the fortitude to just fucking start up like Project Zomboid or something right now and just stream for a couple hours. But you know what? Late. I'm tired. I'm old. And I need to go to bed sometime. Where's my characters played by the dude who played Robin in the Batman movie with George Clooney? Chris O'Donnell. Huh. Okay. Yeah, you know what, chat? Let's wrap this up. I'm certainly, of course, still enjoying this conversation, but I am tired, and of course, all good things need to end. Hey, that was late to chat tonight. Can I be 3 people next time, please? Sure you can. Just for you, Library. It was double for me, maybe triple. Poor old Oddish being as old as you are. I'm glad somebody understands me, Manic. Library Man 2 and Library Man 3. Like Thing 1 and Thing 2. All right, so just to recap, chat, just to recap what we accomplished tonight, we talked a lot. We have made a vote. If you've somehow wandered in here in the 20 or 30 minutes since we made that vote, please vote. This vote will last for 1 week. I will call it next Friday. I don't know what we're doing next Friday. Maybe the wheel. Maybe next Friday will be a wheel night. Depends on what's going on Steam, I think. Can I just say almost? Also chat to go play games. Which chat here is pretty fucking stellar. I very much agree. We'll find out. Mary's streaming DMC 5. Yeah, we'll probably do that then. That sounds good. I haven't rated Mary in a hot minute. But yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, chat. Thank you for tonight. It's not every channel that can do this, I don't think. Not every channel on Twitch has the kind of community where we can just sit down and talk about, hey, what do we play next for 3.5 hours plus. And I am very, very thankful for that. I'm thankful for y'all coming around, spending this time with me, being as friendly and as open and as sharing as you are. Internet hugs for chat, indeed, indeed. And we went over a lot of good stuff. We had a lot of really good conversations about streaming, about the channel, about games, about what we're gonna do, what we could do, what we may do, what we will do. So I feel good. I feel good. I was very, very excited for tonight, and my expectations were still exceeded, and I have y'all to thank for it. So looking forward to future games. Me too. Seriously looking forward to chatting tonight. Shut up in the end like a jackass. At least this YouTube recap. It'll be a good conversation even to listen into, Librarian. And you know, if you're around tomorrow night, it's the Power Hours. Power Hours are by volume mainly chatting anyway, so show up tomorrow night. We'll have a good old jaw flapping time. When Dal directs Shatora into chat with y'all, she's welcome anytime. Anyone's welcome anytime. Y'all roll up in here. We'll have a gay old time in every sense of the word. Looking forward to games of future past. Okay, so to recap, tomorrow night, Power Hours. We're finishing the November 1992 issue of Nintendo Power. It's the penultimate Rob and George experience. It's the one before the end, chat. We're almost there. We're this close. We'll finally put Rob and George in the ground next month. It's happening. It's happening. But we do have to get through tomorrow. I will be off on Sunday, as I always am. And then Monday. Okay, next week's schedule is important. Monday, we are finishing Fallout 2. Tuesday, I'm playing Fallout Tactics. It's probably a terrible idea, but I'm doing it. Wednesday, Hidden Object Night. Good Hidden Object Night. It's gonna be a hoot. If you liked Infected the Twin vaccine, show up on Wednesday. You're gonna love it. And then on Thursday, we should be starting Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. And that will be our quest for the next couple of weeks of Power Hours nights, so. Didn't you say they do one with the viewer? No spoilers, Eva. Did they even say they're leaving, or they just vanished? They just vanished like a fart in the wind. I am manic. I want to. I want to play Fallout Tactics, but only one night. We're only gonna do it one night, and if I get really pissed off or sick of it, I'll have backups. Don't worry. I plan for every contingency. I'm the Batman of streaming. Who are Rob and George? Chaos, have you never been around for Rob and George? Huh? Okay. Chaos, do me a favor. If you can come out tomorrow night for the stream, please do. You have to experience this. You have to experience this before we run out of Rob and George's. It's a thing. I want to see Fallout Brotherhood of Steel. Anyway. I need to stop this before I get caught up and just stay up all night. Let's go raid Mary Ellen Katz. The wonderful and talented Mary Ellen Katz. She's playing DMC5 right now. Which is, we know that's a good time. We certainly do. This is gonna be a special Rob and George, ain't it? Aren't they all? Aren't they all? Alright, gang. Thanks again for coming out. Thanks for joining me for yet another Just Chatting stream. I do so love these. I love these on so many levels. And I greatly appreciate you coming out for them, helping fill the evening with merriment and discourse. Hopefully I will see y'all tomorrow night for our descent into the power hours to mine out some more rich veins of Rob and George. Man, that's a horrible metaphor. But until then, y'all take care. All right. Bye, everybody.
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?